The sea of fire spread across the skies, burning this corner of the quiet fairyland spirit platform beyond recognition. Scattered and smashed, the raging flames linked together into one. Suddenly, the flames wildly danced, and 12 green sword chi whooshed to slash the blaze to pieces. A man and woman appeared. Su Xing hugged Wanyue, rapidly scuttling out of the sea of flames. Seeing the conflagration in front of him, he wrinkled his brow. Although Evil Smiting Hall was an uninhabited fairyland, so as to not arouse the alarm of other areas, his divine intent moved. That divine intent was like a substantial sea wave that rolled layer upon layer and extinguished the flames as they rolled by. The Wanyue on his chest let out an indistinct groan. Su Xing lowered his head to look. He could have done without looking, but the moment he looked, he nearly had a nosebleed. Wanyue wore a milk-colored long skirt. Although she had white armor as protection, the moment it touched water, they immediately revealed what lay underneath. Her skin stuck to the cloth, exposing a tender, even clearly visible, perky tube top. And the woman's face was beautiful, though pale and wan. The dew in her hair truly was like dew on a lotus flower. Su Xing drew in a breath. In his impressions, that sole time he caught sight of hero star Huarong, the girl carried herself tall, proud yet firm. She had a kind of manifest superiority over the mundane world. Now, the second time he saw her, he immediately saw that feeble face of Huarong's. This honestly was too quick. Su Xing swept away the distracting thoughts in his mind. He set the girl down on the grass. Seeing her clothes muddied, her body in disarray, that was called enticing. Wanyue's pupils were hazy, and she moaned miserably. It seemed her situation was not good at all. Su Xing wanted to help change her clothes, but he thought about it and decided to forget about it. From within the forest came a worried rustling. And Suan urgently rushed out, "Big brother, you are unhurt." Originally, Suan had been communicating sentiments with the good fortune when there was a sudden change. She spotted a red Luan conceal the skies, and Suan had been awestruck by those gorgeous wings of the red Luan bird. Her heart thought that this star beast of the hero's star was honestly beautiful. At this time, she suddenly saw that this red Luan frantically launched an attack. The moment Suan saw, she immediately felt an ill sense of foreboding. Good fortune had been shocked into fleeing, and the efficacious star was too late to pacify it. Thus, she made a beeline for camp. Seeing the devastated lakeside, her heart sunk, but the moment she saw Su Xing safe and sound, she breathed a sigh of relief. "Suan, you came at just the right time." Su Xing also sighed in relief. "Ah. She is." When Suan saw the reclining and sensual absolute beauty, she was startled. She looked at her big brother with a gaze brimming with an odd feeling. "Don't misunderstand. I don't know how that one bird injured Huarong, but I just happened to save her. I didn't help her change clothes." Su Xing smiled and said, "Huarong." And Suan was shocked again. Could it be she is hero star little Li Guang Huarong? Su Xing nodded. And Suan felt disbelief in her heart as she looked at the Huarong in front of her. Among the sisters, the hero star was classified as a peak star general. Her mastery over her bow abilities was unrivaled in the world. And Suan never expected they would meet under this sort of circumstance. She looked at Su Xing, inwardly thinking that she truly could not fathom her big brother, unexpectedly saving even the hero star. And Suan did not say much more. Seeing Huarong was extremely weak, she first used spiritual aura distribution to recover her vitality. Then, she stuck the child and mother-linked heart's needles into Huarong's body, fully using a dark rank magic, life-returning magic hands. Green light twinkled, and life force was revived. The originally ruined area also flourished with life again. Huarong's pale complexion then finally regained some color. Huarong's moans also gradually grew faint. The efficacious star and Suan saw that Huarong's whole body was thoroughly drenched and quite indecent. She then pulled apart her clothes to help her change. "You damned man, do not touch me." Wanyue's consciousness was faint, yet she still instinctively seized Suwen's hand, unconsciously cursing. Elder sister. It is little sister efficacious star. Suwen gently comforted. Efficacious star. Wanyue's mind was hazy. Her grip lost its strength, and her hand loosened. Suwen took off Wanyue's clothes. She had just exposed the girl's glossy snow-white shoulders when she suddenly thought of something. Suwen turned her head and smiled. Big brother, can you first step away for a bit? Elder sister Huarong is very shy. Su Xing was taken aback, recovered his senses, and awkwardly laughed. He nodded and stepped to the side. At the same time, he pensively flipped his wrist, revealing the birth treasure outline, sending out rays of light. Tadpole-like golden characters rippled into existence. Star position, hero star name, Huarong nickname, Little Li Guang true name, Wanyue rank, 9th star weapon, Heaven Earth Sun Moon Bow, 3 star, / red jade star splitting short spear, 2 star, star beast. Rank, realm, 10,000 techniques 9th stage innate skill, arrow arts 5 elements, fire yellow rank special move, dance through the willows, arrow, / whistle, 2, spear, dark rank special move, 10,000 Li god killing arrow, / blood dance, 3, spear, current status, no contractor / weak, can be conquered, detailed materials. So amazing. Seeing the data in the birth treasure outline, Su Xing felt his whole body was very cold. 2 yellow ranks, 2 dark ranks, 2 star weapons, this little Li Guang Huarong was the spear arrow double absolutes, which was practically somewhat abnormal. Recalling that randomly appearing god-killing arrow when he faced Elder Immortal extreme clarity, Su Xing still had lingering fears even now. It seemed this Huarong was very talented, and she someday would be a frightening opponent. The other star masters perhaps would rather kill this sort of person as soon as possible, yet he himself uncharacteristically went to save her. Perhaps he would be perceived as a monster by other people. Her current status of being without a contractor and capable of being conquered was very enticing. Su Xing was secretly pondering whether or not he should take the chance to capture Huarong. This idea was fleeting, and Su Xing thought no further of it. He disdained doing this sort of matter that took advantage of others. Big brother, done. Suwen abruptly said. Su Xing put away the treasure outline and walked over. The efficacious star's medical arts were excellent. Not only did Wanyue recover her complexion, she was also awake. She opened those stunning eyes. Silent, she coldly eyed Su Xing. Su Xing did not harbor any suspicions. Were it not because Wanyue's strength being greatly depleted, temporarily losing her fighting ability, she definitely would have sent an arrow his way as a warning. Wanyue. Su Xing broke the silent atmosphere. Wanyue stared at Su Xing. Her thin eyes were cold as ice. Looking at Su Xing and Suwen, her brow creased. In a weak tone, she said, "What are you planning?" "What?" Su Xing was confused. Wanyue sneered, her expression careful. "You are a star master, why would you want to save me? What are you conspiring? Do you feel I should be conspiring something against you?" Su Xing thoughtfully said. "Elder sister, do not misunderstand. Elder brother is not conspiring at all." Suwen promptly said. It was only elder sister's clothes. Big brother was afraid of sullying elder sister, so he had little sister change them. Hearing Suwen's words, the doubt and wariness in Wanyue's hearts were not at all removed. Although she was silent, her eyes nevertheless clearly emanated suspicion. How could she, Wanyue, believe that a star master would go save a star general, let alone, she was very clear how great an enticement she was to other star masters. As the star general ranked 9th, the star energies of the top 10 star generals were exceptionally powerful. Killing her to obtain recovery absolutely would tempt anyone, let alone that he was also a star master. Seeing Su Xing indeed did not have other intentions, while Wanyue's thoughts were even more blank. This was the first time she had encountered this sort of situation. Associating that final sight of the man in front of her staking everything to battle firmly before her, while Wanyue actually felt she could believe in him once, but the little Li Guang's mouth still made clear her position. The star duels are naturally you die and I live. There absolutely is not a second possibility. If you do not kill me now, then someday, you will regret it. These frank words made Suan silent. Su Xing broke into laughter. I naturally know this. Hua Wanyue, you don't need to make this sort of absolute expression. You saved my life once. Me saving you is only by rights, and don't think you owe me anything. Hua Wanyue's absolutely calm face showed some astonishment. She never expected Su Xing would say this, treating the favor of saving someone's life as nothing. When did I ever save you? Hua Wanyue suddenly remembered. Are you speaking of that time with the birth treasure outline? That time was because of noble star little whirlwind Chai Ling that I would act. Do not think you owe me anything for that. Originally, when I was being pursued by the rock demon king, you also saved me. Su Xing smiled. Hua Wanyue's brow knit together even tighter. Alright, don't think too much about it. In the future, if you want to kill me, I naturally will not show you mercy. For now, let's peacefully get along. Su Xing said. Hua Wanyue gazed at him for a moment, honestly somewhat unable to see through the man in front of her. She grunted, then wringed clean her hair of the water. Seeing Hua Wanyue currently unable to withstand a single blow, Suan asked with concern, Elder sister, do you want to leave Evil Smiting Hall first? I cannot leave for now. Hua Wanyue saw her little sister efficacious star, and her cold tone held back considerably. Suan then recalled that a star general that had entered Evil Smiting Hall 3 days earlier was not allowed to leave. Perhaps if she obtained a star beast she could, otherwise, they were unable to use Evil Smiting Hall. Thus, this was why Evil Smiting Hall was said to be most dangerous for star generals. After all, as far as not being able to escape was concerned, in case they had been locked onto for the last 3 days, it would be very difficult to flee. Besides, I do not wish to leave. Hua Wanyue faintly smiled. Even if she was this weak, her imposing air still made people revere her. It's because of the star beast, that red Luan. Su Xing somewhat could not understand what Hua Wanyue was planning. You haven't signed a contract. Isn't single-handedly going to capture that one a bit too difficult? I have my own plans. Hua Wanyue did not want to talk anymore. She propped up her body and rose with difficulty. Suan tried to help her, but Hua Wanyue declined. The hero star expressionlessly stared at Su Xing. If you do not want to kill me right now, then I shall take my leave. Elder sister, your body right now is very weak. If you catch the eyes of other people, you will be in grave trouble. Suan promptly warned. Yes. Suan is the efficacious star divine physician. She will be of great help to rapidly recovering your energy. Su Xing nodded and spread out his hands. I do not have any evil intentions towards you, don't hesitate to relax. I shall engrave your kindness into my mind, but that is unnecessary. Hua Wanyue clearly was very resolute. Suan looked anxiously at Su Xing. Su Xing was helpless and allowed her to leave. Just when Hua Wanyue stepped into the forest, suddenly, there were whizzes. Although Hua Wanyue was very feeble, her reactions were nevertheless quick. Retreating and dodging, that spear tip flashed past and flit by. The hero star basically was incapable of blocking. Staggering backwards, she was about to fall over, yet she fell onto a burning hot chest. Her body immediately felt a manly yang fire burn. Su Xing embraced her as he carried her away. Hua Wanyue silently struggled. At this time, they spotted a figure walk out of the forest. Golden light painted across the whole sky, bubbling with golden lotuses all over. Auspicious clouds gathered, and propitious vapors extended far away. A nebula swiftly moved forth, and the cloud had 3 girls upon it. A qilin bellowed in the horizon ahead. The golden cloud rolled about. Even if they were separated by more than 1,000 li, they still could feel a tremendous presence oppress them, but the girl on the cloud dressed in a blue and white palace dress that was like a painting paid no heed. All of her attention was completely concerned with that horizon. For elder sister Qingxi to go select Lu Junyi honestly is greatly outside of Jingji's expectations. The living goddess of lightning Jingji watched the terrifying imposing air in front. She secretly swallowed down her saliva, gazing at Qingxi very confused. Any way it was put, Lu Junyi was much harder to deal with compared to Hua Rong. This was a fierce star that did not sign a contract in 1,000 years. After this star general number 1 in martial force had been provoked by the previous Wusong, perhaps she would be even more unwilling to sign a star dual covenant. Qingxi was very calm. She really did not neglect hero star Hua Rong. Compared to Lu Junyi, Hua Rong was somewhat even better, but Qingxi once saw Hua Rong in the Vermilion Bird territory. At that time, Hua Rong had already declined her. Now, finding her once more perhaps would not have any other results. Qingxi had an even more ingenious thought. Hua Rong going to attack that heavenly hero Red Luan as she is right now certainly is not an opponent. From your servant's understanding, she definitely will be defeated. Then why does elder sister still go care about her? Wang Jingji was even more bewildered. Qingxi shook her head. Hua Rong's temper is proud. Only with a defeat can her guard collapse. Your servant has already made someone go protect Hua Rong. When she is defeated, that time will not be too late. Wang Jingji exclaimed, elder sister truly is mindful. Qingxi bitterly smiled. She had no other choice. That Lu Junyi perhaps also may not follow elder sister like this. The living goddess of lightning shook her head, not at all optimistic about Qingxi's other decision. The current Lu Junyi is very out of the ordinary. Her star weapon is reportedly already 4-star. If she can obtain her Qilin, then it can be said this generation's Jade Qilin may be able to surpass the previous Wusong in martial brilliance. Qingxi gave a mellow laugh. Ah! 4-star. The living goddess of lightning nearly popped her eyeballs out. The 4-star of the star general's strongest heavenly star, would she not be able to overcome any obstacles? This was too excessive. She unexpectedly has 4-star. What a powerful elder sister. How does sister Qingxi know? It was little sister Qiongyu who informed your servant. Qingxi slightly smiled. Wang Jingji was taken aback. Soon after, she was at ease, mumbling to herself, no wonder she could advance to 4-star. The jade-armed craftsman must have helped her. The living goddess of lightning was not foolish, suddenly recalling that if they had a relationship Jin Deijian, then them going to Jade Qilin Lu Junyi now would be selling out on goodwill. Doing so to each foster a good relationship was something only to be expected. After all, whatever the case, the stronger the Jade Qilin was, the better for them. Thinking of this, Wang Jingji admired Qingxi. Right, elder sister just said you sent someone to protect her. Could it be there are others who follow elder sister? Wang Jingji saw that the black whirlwind Li Kuei that followed like a shadow had not left at all, which was somewhat odd. Qingxi declined to comment further, saying only, that is also a straightforward little sister. Your servant is confident that little sister Wanyue will recognize her. Ya, where have this elder sister's thoughts gone off to? A youthful woman sauntered out. The short hair neatly on the back of her head was bound into several pigtails. She had yellow pupils, and the corner of her mouth slightly curled, a self-conceited attitude. She had quite a masculine air, her style of dress very sexy. How did she dress? On her head was a cap with a feather, golden rings and jade ornaments, on her body was 100 flowers robe, a brocade with an embroidered design. Her armor was laid with thousands of fire dragon scales, her belt was wrapped with a cornelian, and her hand held a vermilion sky piercer. Underneath her armor, she had completely scarlet clothes and red armor. It made people feel she was very angry. This halberd was known as vermilion-colored blood, too, an awe-inspiring divine weapon that would leave gods and demons terror-stricken. This newcomer. The 54th ranked aide star little Marquis of Wenlu Fang. 3. You are the 8-star little Marquis of Wanyue Fang. Hua Wanyue's tone sunk. Elder sister Hua Rong, you appear not too comfortable. Your servant has accepted master's orders to come protect elder sister, and your servant must ask you not refuse. Little Marquis of Wanyue Fang erected the sky piercer, vermilion-colored blood, faintly grinning. It appears she indeed is very ambitious. Hua Wanyue was pensive. Then, elder sister, your servant asks that you follow Fanger. Lu Fang invited, smiling confidently. Su Xing at this time wrinkled his brow, feeling that things were somewhat odd. Although he knew that the flames could attract other star masters or star generals over, he did not think it would be unexpectedly this quick. It was as if this was already planned. Su Xing opened the birth treasure outline. Shwa shwa shwa. A row of golden characters appeared. Star position, 8 star name, Lu Fang, 5, nickname, Little Marquis of Wen true name, Lu Fang, 6, rank, 54th star weapon, vermilion-colored blood, 3 star, star beast. Rank, realm, 1000 militaries 9th stage innate skill, outburst, 7, 5 elements, gold-yellow rank special move, blood kill, 8, dark rank special move, disaster of blood light, 9, current status, uprising, cannot be conquered, detailed materials. Uprising again, Su Xing was baffled. Could it be this was a special contract type? The birth treasure outline, Little Marquis of Wanyue Fang suddenly spotted Su Xing, and the corner of her mouth curled even higher. That pair of dull yellow pupils flashed with a tyrannical light. She looked Su Xing up and down, and then she also saw the Insuan beside Su Xing. When she saw it was the efficacious star divine physician completely without any martial force, she gave a big smile. It is too interesting for a galaxy middle stage star master that contracted the efficacious star to be able to obtain the birth treasure outline. Su Xing's expression sunk, for he smelt a familiar scent. Star masters should die. 8-star little Marquis of Wen raised the sky piercer, her smile turning from one of interest into indifference. This birth treasure outline is definitely not something galaxy middle stage cultivators like you can possess. Hand it over to your servant, and your servant shall spare you. What if I refuse? Su Xing beckoned with his hand, and the 12 Langia fluttered around his whole body, baring their fangs. Refuse? Ha, ha. Lu Fang seemed to have anticipated this. Stop, they just saved me. Lu Fang, stop. The atmosphere was one of mutual hostility, about to snap at any moment. Hua Wanyue shouted all of a sudden. Although she was weak, her yell was still courageous. The little Marquis of Wanyue Fang was shaken. Immediately, she smiled disdainfully. What joke is elder sister saying? This man is a star master, why would he save elder sister? Even if he did save elder sister, he definitely has other motives. No one could blame her for believing this. If it was any other star general, they also would not believe that a star master could still remain indifferent in their ambitions upon seeing one of the 10 top-ranked heavenly stars. To genuinely be unmoved, if they were not stupid, then they harbored evil intentions. Seeing Su Xing was no more than galaxy middle stage and surprisingly in possession of the divine item, birth treasure outline, Lu Fang naturally felt that the heart of the man in front of her was sly. Even Hua Wanyue also briefly contemplated this way of thinking, but the hero star drew a line between what she liked and hated. She disdained this sort of vulgar and base psychology. She coldly blocked in front of Su Xing, regardless, that he saved your servant is fact. Hua Wanyue was very resolute. She knew that with the situation that Su Xing was currently in, confronting a star general bode ill for them, let alone that the little Marquis of Wanyue Fang inherited the Sky Piercer's martial force which was not at all very low. Even if Su Xing had superb flying swords, he completely lacked any hope of success. If they actually battled, Su Xing escaping was inevitable, and Hua Wanyue did not wish to implicate him. Elder sister, stand aside. Lu Fang was annoyed. Could it be that elder sister has also been bewitched by this man? Star masters are the enemies of all of us sisters. They must die. Humph, besides that birth treasure outline, your servant also wants to play. You truly wish to act? Wanyue's eyes narrowed as she coldly spoke. Elder sister is this weak and is still bluffing? TSK, it seems the hero star is no more than an idiot that can be deceived by a man. Little Marquis of Wanyue Fang chuckled, speaking with hardly any misgivings. Do not be too unbridled. And Suan could not tolerate any more, shouting, Big brother does not wish to become enemies with you. It seems that the efficacious star also is an idiot that has been deceived. Lu Fang's eyelids jumped. She suddenly showed excitement, eagerly smiling, just let your servant deliver justice on the behalf of heaven this time. When her words fell, Lu Fang swayed, raising the sky-piercer vermilion-colored blood to slash downwards. A figure blocked in front of her. Wanyue raised the red jade star-splitting short spear. With a heavy clang ringing down, Wanyue nearly fell to a knee. The sky-piercer's heavy power made the skin of Wanyue's hands tear, nearly spraying out blood. If it was the normal hero star confronting Lu Fang, she would have more than enough to spare, but the Huarong in a weakened state basically was not an opponent. Let alone that this was Aid's star little Marquis of Wen, even in Suan could easily stab her to death. Lu Fang shouted loudly, the red light of the vermilion-colored blood sending Wanyue flying, again falling into Su Xing's arms. You! Wanyue had been hugged by Su Xing several times. Her eyes were somewhat indignant, but she knew that her counterpart only wished to help her. Thus, she said nothing. Elder sister hero star, you seem so weak. Ha, to defeat the elder sister ranked number 9, the feeling truly is superb, Lu Fang said in enjoyment, the corner of her mouth rising higher and higher. This sort of feeling was probably that of a dragon swimming in the river happening across a pond. The hero star was not angry, but she sneered, I truly disdain to associate with this kind of little sister. What is elder sister so confident for? The little Marquis of Lu Fang's tone sunk again, very dissatisfied, don't all of you incredible heavenly stars always never look upon us earthly star sisters? Is that not so? You must be thinking, Aya, they all are a flock who know not the immensity of heaven and earth. Little sisters that seek their own death, you are not an opponent no matter how you upgrade or how hard you try, right? Elder sister Huarong. Lu Fang's sneer made them stirred. I have never thought this way. I look upon all the sisters as companions. Wanyue coldly said, but a slightly hard-to-perceive sorrow appeared in her tone. You speak so pleasantly, then why must you obstruct little sister? Lu Fang said. He saved me. How can I watch with folded arms? Wanyue said. Big talk, ridiculous big talk. If elder sister is determined to be swindled by a man, then do not blame your servant for her ruthlessness. Lu Fang's hands raised the vermilion-colored blood, her killing intent glimpsed. Lu Fang also wants to make elder sister hero star taste the feeling of us earthly star sisters being oppressed by the heavenly star elder sisters. Her pupils showed a fighting intent that would make people feel shocked. Her imposing air could not be looked directly into, and when Su Xing finished hearing her words, he was in admiration. Come then. Wanyue faintly said. Courting death. Lu Fang indignantly shouted, the braids on the back of her head flying. The sky-piercer unleashed an insufferably arrogant drive. Wanyue was incomparably calm, even not executing any sort of defensive movements. Bang! A man stood straight between them. Elder sister, properly taste the tragedy of us earthly star sisters. Lu Fang was furious. Her thin braids fluttered, and the sky-piercer slashed down at Wanyue without any hesitation. The Wanyue that was an arrow at the end of its path basically could not execute any defensive movements. Just at this time, a man stood between them, his hand hefting a golden Buddhist sword to block. You damned man, you truly are annoying. You wish to play hero in front of your servant? Seeing that Su Xing acted, Lu Fang showed surprise. Wanyue also felt surprised. Across all of Liangshan, the number of star masters that dared contend against a star general in martial force perhaps could be counted with fingers. Upon seeing that golden Buddhist sword, Lu Fang's killing intent was even more concentrated, and she even sneered. The Vajra evil smiting sword. Your servant just knew that the words of a despicable and shameless star master were for show. Secretly, you killed my sister. Su Xing slightly sighed, for there was nothing to explain. Suan, take Wanyue and go. I'll stall her here. And Suan nodded and immediately supported Wanyue. I do not wish to owe you any more favors. Wanyue's complexion was somewhat unsightly. Elder sister, do not be stubborn. Big brother only means well for you. And Suan promptly said. How could Wanyue bear in Suan's strength? 8-star little Marquis of Wan Lu Fang laughed, no longer concerned with Wanyue. She originally wanted to kill Su Xing. You truly are overconfident, unexpectedly thinking of contending against your servant. This is even better. Your servant will play with you then. Careful that you don't play your life away. Su Xing showed an absolute gentleman's smile. Good. Lu Fang smiled despite her anger. Striding forward, past a distance of several zhang, the vermilion-colored blood slashed heavy as Mount Tai. The air was cut apart with a huala. The light of the 12 Langya formed a sword array that successively attacked, yet it was unable to persist for long before being struck apart by the sky piercer. Immediately afterwards, the girls slashed head-on. Accept death. A chilly cutting edge cut apart the air, and a cold light dazzled. Hey! Su Xing did not hesitate at all to raise the Vajra evil smiting sword to clash head directly. The sword blade sunk. Su Xing nearly bent back, for Lu Fang's power was far stronger than he imagined. As expected of Lu Bu-like character. In their first exchange, the skin of Su Xing's hand immediately split, and the Vajra evil smiting sword nearly flew out of his hands. This damned Lu Fang's strength was unexpectedly so valiant. Originally, being able to trade blows with Li Kuei already made Su Xing somewhat self-confident. How could he have anticipated that Lu Fang would once again exceed his expectations? It was just that in regards to pure power, he really was not inferior, but in this aspect, there was factor that Su Xing had not yet recovered a portion of his strength. To have battled with the Black Whirlwind Li Longkue and then battling with 8-star little Marquis of Wan not long after, ordinary star masters basically could not persist. Lu Fang's dull yellow pupils showed astonishment, not expecting Su Xing to be able to block her first attack. The girl felt humiliated. She angrily shouted, swept both hands, a slash like wind. The vermilion-colored blood's power directly jolted Su Xing back. His figure fell over backwards and slid, stopping only after several meters. Footfalls like lightning rolled forth. Su Xing had barely caught his breath when an ice-cold bloodlight already flit below his eyelids. Lu Bu raised the sky piercer and rushed forth, with an abundance of stamping apart mountains and rivers. Do not be impudent in front of your servant. The sky piercer cut out a bloodlight that instantly attacked. This was the little Marquis of Wen's yellow rank special move. Blood kill. Su Xing grit his teeth. Both his hands gripped the sword, his whole body's strength concentrated into his wrists. He stepped forward without the least bit of fear. Their first exchange shook their eardrums with the sound of resounding clangs of metal. The light of blood kill attacked Su Xing's body, and a kind severing feeling was apparently about to tear Su Xing's body apart. Su Xing fully exerted his star energy, the boulder armor created with purple cloud true star disintegrated, unexpectedly cut to pieces. His body slightly lowered, and the Vajra evil smiting sword hacked at the girl's legs. Knowing that the Vajra evil smiting sword could not manifest for too long, Su Xing wanted to settle things quickly. Lu Fang jumped to evade, and then the 12 Langya sliced from behind. Lu Fang slashed without even turning her head. The vermilion-colored blood cracked open a line of blood-colored light that struck back the Langya's sneak attack. A chill came from behind, and Lu Fang disdainfully smirked. The Vajra evil smiting sword slashed down from overhead. The sword blade's edge flit across Lu Fang's cheek. Her hair unexpectedly had been severed by the weapon's sword chi. This man actually fought without the slightest bit of discrimination towards the fairer sex. It seemed he was not that stupid. Lu Fang sneered. Although she did not need any pity from the enemy, immediately afterwards, Lu Fang sliced back with a speed that would not lose out to thunder. Su Xing only felt his eyes dazzle. Fortunately, that he steeled himself through previous battled with so many star generals was not just talk. Su Xing also was somewhat accustomed to battles against star generals. If it was any other star cultivation, they would already be cut into at this time. Lin Yingmei's battle doctrine immediately made itself clear. Su Xing lowered his figure, raised his head. He caught up with the little Marquis of Wen's battle rhythm, forcibly making this slash of Lu Fang stick close past his forehead. Because of the blade against his forehead, the edge cut open a thin line of blood. Su Xing seized this chance and immediately stabbed. The sword tip directly stabbed through, executing a lightning-like attack. There was an intense clanging noise. The little Marquis of Wen Lu Fang stood the sky piercer up, blocking this sudden stab. Regardless of how fast Su Xing was, before the martial force a star general exerted, especially before a martial force star general, he had that little wee bit of feeling powerless. He saw Lu Fang was like a stone carving, steadily planted into the ground, not withdrawing in the slightest, allowing the original chance to stab to pass. The Su Xing that once again used great wisdom King Cleave to attack was caught unprepared and could only dispel this way of thinking. He saw Lu Fang's gloomy expression. What? Has your servant greatly surprised you? Su Xing faintly smiled, withdrawing to a certain distance, not losing to the little Marquis of Wen in imposing aura. Hm. Lu Fang continuously laughed coldly. You are a swindler, as expected, a damned swindler. Very good, very good. Lu Fang smiled despite her anger. Both her hands gripped the sky piercer. To be able to reach this stage. Extremely good. The little Marquis of Wen's whole body burst with an angry chi. She pressed onwards with earth-shattering power, unexpectedly forcing Su Xing back several paces again, nearly destabilizing him. Even someone like Su Xing nearly fell over. To make you die under the disaster of blood light, truly is your servant's humiliation. Lu Fang laughed out loud. Just at this moment, Su Xing saw that vermilion-colored blood in the girl's hand flash with thousands of rays of bloodlight. Wanyue was helped several hundred meters away by Suan. The sounds of battle behind them were increasingly inaudible. Hero star Huarong recovered a bit of her strength, one hand stopping their advance. She looked at the efficacious star, her expression surprised yet also puzzled. Why are you so confident in him? What is elder sister saying? And Suan did not understand. So do you not worry that man will be killed by the little Marquis of Wen? Wanyue's eyes narrowed at the depths of the forest, her tone unfathomable. Suan naturally worries about Big Brother, but Suan also believes in Big Brother. And Suan calmly answered. Having gone through such a long time together, the efficacious star was fully aware that Su Xing's personality was absolutely not that sort of bold but not astute. Since Su Xing dared to act, nothing would happen. Even if indeed he was not that little Marquis of Wen's opponent, Su Xing still had the jade pendant protecting him. In actuality, Suan also had her own thoughts. Seeing Wanyue not having signed a contract and also having been saved by Su Xing, and with him even going out of his way to fight a star general for Wanyue, if this continued, they certainly could leave behind a very good impression of her big brother in hero star Huarong's mind. Afterwards, even if they could not sign a contract, it could not be said for certain she would not become one of the sisters. Just like Wu Xiao and Chai Ling. For this point, how could Suan not know? Wanyue did not think that much. The facts were exactly as Suan anticipated. This manner of Su Xing's definitely was outside of Huarong's expectations. To be frank, she had never seen a star master like this. Of course, the hero's star did not feel that counterpart had any schemes. The hero's star had her own bottom line. This bottom line and Su Xing's bottom line were basically the same. In the future star duels, while Wanyue would not be enemies with Su Xing and would she be willing to help him, but if the latter became hostile, she would not be polite. With this criterion, while Wanyue actually did not fear Su Xing would have any designs on her. At the very worst, if nothing else, it was to sign a contract. Thinking of this, while Wanyue's heart abruptly stirred, she suddenly recalled her own experience with danger. Being extremely weak, she basically had no way to resist any star master that wanted to sign a contract with her. If she actually signed a contract in the third phase Evil Smiting Hall, to be frank, while Wanyue would have no choice but to accept her misfortune, but that man had not yet taken advantage of her. While Wanyue immediately thought, that man has a star general, so naturally he could not contract other star generals. That faint stirring in her heart promptly was buried. If Ansuan knew Hua Wanyue's thoughts, she definitely would shout out to inform the hero star of the fact Su Xing did not have limits on how many sisters he could contract. At that time, perhaps this stirring of hers would go out of hand, but Ansuan's heart still somewhat worried for Su Xing. How could she have thought this much, and she missed the opportunity to have Su Xing leave behind an even more profound impression. With a little sister like you, that man ought to know contentment. Hua Wanyue said. Elder sister, let us first find a safe place and then talk. Ansuan said. No. I do not wish to owe him. Hua Wanyue shook her head, the heaven earth sun moon bow in hand. But elder sister's condition. Ansuan hesitated. Little sister Suan, could it be you are willing to let your man face danger? Hua Wanyue said calmly. Ansuan shook her head. Then it is settled. Hua Wanyue drew the bow into a full moon, and she faintly smiled. Clang clang. Fireworks exploded everywhere. Su Xing's body leaked cold sweat. At a swift speed, Lu Fang wrist lowered, and the sky piercer drew a circle. His attack was carried out in that instant. Practically when the bloodlight became a disaster, Su Xing immediately used the Vajra Evil Smiting Sword's Great Wisdom King Cleave without any hesitation. An enormous golden light beam rushed forth. Lu Fang laughed aloud, for the bloodlight had been weakened but not yet stopped. Contending against Lu Fang's Sky Piercer gave rise to an enormous attack, and even the earth shuddered. The air wildly rolled. Su Xing called forth Langia, the flying swords arranging themselves. His figure moved, the green light on the sword's edge concentrated into a sharp sword light, ripping apart the air. The flying swords became an array, and a clear light descended. The bloodlight nevertheless was fierce and unequaled as before. Lu Fang instantly attacked. Regardless of speed, angle, power as well as willpower, she was impeccable perfection. This slash was perfect without compare. The crimson-colored sky piercer's countless bloodlights appeared like threads and trapped Su Xing's hands and feet. He was incapable of budging. As if the gates of hell had opened, like liberated hungry ghosts, the bloodlight became phantoms that attacked. Su Xing was startled. Lu Fang was delighted. Shockingly, this was her new dark rank technique. Matchless Blood Demon. The little Marquis of when Lu Fang laughed. The disaster of blood light became hundreds of blood demons that wrapped around Su Xing's arms and legs. Lu Fang seized the chance to raise the vermilion-colored blood and slash downwards. Su Xing remained composed. He coldly chuckled, and the purple cloud on his body immediately shot out, becoming like sharp swords. The purple cloud true star was the Earth Book's paramount star magic. The intertwined blood demons immediately were torn apart. At the same time, Langia slashed, his 5 fingers flicked, and he fired Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. This ability could be said to be his signature. Lu Fang turned pale from fright. She leaned her body and flung the Sky Piercer to block Langia, and then she contended against the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Just at this time, out of the corner of Lu Fang's eye, she felt a slight golden light flit by. the little Marquis of Wanyue froze. She turned her head around and saw that the man in front of her opened both his hands. 12 golden flying swords sprayed out from his body. This sword's golden scales twinkled, its tip pressing, with a vaguely visible golden dragon hissing. A sort of powerful imposing air made Lu Fang's limbs ice cold. The 12 heaven-tearing metal swords nourished in his body for so long finally could count as being somewhat energetic. Su Xing lightly pointed his finger. Heaven-tearing whistled as they flew out. Golden light linked together, ripping out a whistle. How could the 8-star little Marquis of Wanyue at this time react in time? The 12 golden swords pierced through her body. The girl screamed, but this 8-star's innate skill outburst activated at the critical moment. Her whole body's star energy greatly swelled, and she strongly blocked Heaven-tearing's unbridled chi flame. When Langia slashed, Lu Fang firmly glared at Su Xing, to engrave this man into her memory. You stinking man, your servant is not finished with you. Disgraceful, disgraceful, thought the little Marquis of Wanyue who had been trampled on by a heaven star. Now, even a galaxy middle stage star master could defeat her. Bastard! Not knowing just who she was cursing, the little Marquis of Wanyue Lu Fang's silhouette seemingly rippled. The wood sword Langia and the metal sword Heaven-tearing pounced upon empty space. The 8-star little Marquis of Wanyue had already escaped from Evil Smiting Hall. Su Xing's fingers moved, and the heaven-tearing dragon roared in the air before looping back inside his body. Langia returned to his front. With the flying swords made from the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo nourished inside his body, Heaven-tearing's recovery speed was also optimistic. Just as Su Xing was thinking. All of a sudden, an air-shattering sound shook. A light-like arrow shot directly at him. Su Xing tilted his head, and he avoided the arrow. Are you plotting against your husband's life? Su Xing unconsciously said. Hero Star Huarong and efficacious Star Divine Physician walked out. What did you say? Hua Wanyue's tone was offended. Apparently, she did not like being made fun of wantonly. Su Xing shrugged his shoulders and asked in Suan why they returned. Hua Wanyue could not see a trace of the little Marquis of Wanyue and looked somewhat shocked at Su Xing. She fled the evil smiting hall. You unexpectedly can defeat a star general. Hua Wanyue looked at Su Xing with a somewhat odd expression. In her impression, although the little Marquis of Wanyue Lu Fang was not a dominating character in martial force, she still could not be easily looked down on. On one hand, how could average star generals provoke the sky-piercer battle techniques? She originally thought that Su Xing was merely galaxy middle stage. This sort of cultivation could only count as second-rate at this point in the star duels. Let alone defeating the little Marquis of Wanyue, being closed in on, he would have been ravaged. Of course I can't beat you if I bumped into you, but average martial force star generals are still doable. Fortunately, he had Lin Chang's battle doctrine and often fought with star generals, the so-called product of his environment. In the star duels against star generals, any way it was put, Su Xing had some confidence in himself, to say nothing of his two immemorial sword chants. Compared to the Black Whirlwind, the little Marquis of Wanyue that could only be rude was behind by several streets, naturally not worth a mention. Hua Wanyue stared at Su Xing, finding she truly could not fathom him. She slightly shook her head, no longer wasting her thoughts. Your favor this time, Huarong engraves to memory. I am sure we will meet again someday. Hua Wanyue lowered her heavy pace and was determined to leave. And Suan looked helplessly at Su Xing, completely lacking options. Su Xing smiled. Hua Wanyue, can you help me with something? Hua Wanyue turned her head and cast a cautious glance, not replying. It's like this, little sister Suan wants to capture the star beast Good Fortune, but we've wasted too much time. I want to have you help us. Treat it as remuneration, and I'll help you catch the red Luan, how's that? Su Xing calmly said. And Suan and Hua Wanyue were very surprised. Good fortune. As far as I know, this beast is incapable of being harmed in the slightest. It can only be slowly consoled and influenced in order to be captured. I only understand archery, what can I help with? Wanyue asked. Big brother. And Suan was confused. I just thought of a way. It can save little sister time. Su Xing smiled. What way do you have? Wanyue was bewildered. Of course it's to have Wanyue play a reverse role. With Wanyue's arrow arts, we definitely can do it. Su Xing unconsciously called Wanyue, Wanyue. Wanyue's brows rose. Her attention already attracted by Su Xing's plan, she could only wrinkle her brows towards this address. How do we do this? Su Xing compliantly explained. In actuality, the method he conceived was very simple yet very surprising somewhat. As everyone knew, the good fortune was influenced by the humaneness of a person. Previous efficacious stars captured it only after several months' time of close contact with the good fortune before it finally was subdued. In addition, so long as there were any injurious deeds, the efficacious star basically could not recruit the good fortune beast. Since when did subdue necessarily mean familiarity breeds closeness? Su Xing took a different approach, and then he thought to have Wanyue act as a hunter to go hunt for the good fortune, and to have Suan act as the comforter to pacify the startled good fortune beast. Of course, to have Wanyue deliberately use the arrows from time to time to make grazing injuries. As long as it could make the good fortune beast fall into a sort of panicked state, that would be fine. And Suan would then use her healing, which certainly could be twice the work with half the effort. When Su Xing finished speaking his thoughts, the two girls were dumb as wooden chickens. How about it? Won't this plan work? Su Xing asked when he saw they said nothing. And Suan nodded, her eyes filled with happiness. Big brother, this plan is truly very wonderful. And, indeed you can capture the good fortune even more quickly. Wanyue had no choice but to admit that the thoughts of the man in front of her were very meticulous. To use the double tricks of hunt and soothe to go capture the star beast was the plan he thought of. Previous star generals would not necessarily not think of this method, but they were without a hunter that could control her arrow arts to the summit like hero star Huarong. Secondly, there was no lack of time to completely not use to worry about. I will help you this time. Wanyue nodded. Good, treat it as thanks. I'll help Wanyue capture that Luan. Su Xing was blunt. Wanyue coldly said, unnecessary. This time, I owe you. I can settle the heavenly hero Red Luan. I already said, you don't owe me. I saved you only because you saved me. Business settled. Wanyue, you said so yourself that you don't want to owe others favors, and I don't want to either. If you don't agree, then we don't need to trouble you with Suan's star beast. Su Xing shook his head. Wanyue did not foresee Su Xing would speak so resolutely. And Suan took the opportunity to say, actually, big brother also likes elder sister. He does not hold any evil intentions towards elder sister at all. Elder sister, please agree. Wanyue's mouth gaped speechless. Was she allowed to decline? If she did not help Suan quickly obtain her star beast, then Wanyue herself would feel very apologetic. Do you truly wish to help me? Could it be you do not know the consequences? To be able to become friends with Wanyue, what consequences could there be? Su Xing asked back, smiling very happily. Wanyue's face was slightly red. This was the first time she had been described this directly as a friend by a man. Then, good. I shall oblige you. However you treat me, then I shall treat you however. Wanyue's words very much would let someone's imagination roam. Someday, whether you treat me as an enemy or friend, then I will treat you as an enemy or friend accordingly. Her original idea was to leave some leeway. However, to Su Xing's ears, it was that sort of, if you turn against me, then I will turn against you, idea. Then, I love you. Do you love me? Su Xing's careful considerations emerged again. And Suan was at a loss. Wanyue softly snorted, disdainful. Su Xing invited a snub. He laughed in embarrassment, and then Suan snuck in a laugh. The good fortune leisurely drank water, its eyes alert of its surroundings. A rustle broke the air suddenly, like a bowstring snapping. An arrow brushed past in front of the good fortune's eyes. This immortal deer received a fright, and it immediately kicked off and hopped away, rapidly fleeing. In the forest, it quickly skipped, but that arrow practically was like bone cellulitis. Every time, it grazed past the good fortune, blocking the good fortune's escape route, but every time, it just exactly allowed the good fortune to escape. If there was an astute hunter present, they would immediately discern that the arrow's shooter was not at all thinking of killing this star beast. Those frightfully accurate arrow arts completely did not miss their target, feigning a confused situation, deliberately using the arrows to force the good fortune seemingly to a planned escaped route. Arrows whistled. The good fortune's deer antlers released a dazzling clear light that advanced towards the arrows, but it basically could not obstruct the arrow's penetration. There was a cry, for the arrow stuck into the good fortune's lower leg. The immortal deer collapsed onto the ground with a thud. The good fortune beast possessed self-healing abilities, but this arrow was concentrated with star energy, not scattering when the wound was created. For the time being, the good fortune could only whine. Gradually, the good fortune ceased its cries, and its eyes were somewhat despairing. Just at this time, a gentle girl dressed in blue clothes gingerly stepped out. When she saw the fallen good fortune, she cried out. Her eyes showed pain from her heart. Upon seeing this girl, the good fortune blinked its large eyes and cried out several times, its voice exceptionally warm. Suan will help you. And Suan's eyes had reluctance. Her forehead's star crest twinkled, and her hand comforted the good fortune's wound. The child and mother linked heart's needles stuck in, and her hand rippled with a green aura brimming with life. On a tree several hundred meters away. Standing upon it was a man and a woman. The man had a soldierly stature while the woman was heroic and valiant. At first glance, they seemed to be a pair of companion immortals. The girl put away her bow, her arm gracefully hanging down. Those beautiful flower-like eyes were full of elegance. Su Xing, you truly are a cruel man. Wanyue watched that good fortune cry, somewhat with pity and regret. She looked at the man next to her, saying, for you to plot as such against little sister Suan's star beast, what do you feel little sister would think? Su Xing rolled his eyes at her, never thought Wanyue would have such a melancholy face. Humph. However, Suan truly is forgiving. Su Xing watched the Suan currently soothing the good fortune. In the girl's eyes was a motherly tenderness that made Su Xing touched. As the efficacious star, she had to be very reluctant to see her own star beast suffer such hardship, as long as you know. It truly is your fortune to have a little sister like this. Wanyue said. Su Xing laughed and nodded approvingly. Wanyue glanced at Su Xing, understanding this guy was somewhat unfathomable, and she no longer said anything more. In the grove far away, a blue light fluttered out of the trees. Suddenly, the good fortune's body flashed with a star crest that also enveloped Suan. When Su Xing saw, he knew. Finally, the star beast good fortune had been captured. Su Xing and Wanyue walked towards Suan, and they saw that the good fortune beast was currently docile as it nestled against the girl's body. Those clear eyes twinkled with a peculiar light. Its whole body emitted a clear light that was like a faint mirage, making Suan appear somewhat exceedingly refined. Perhaps it was because the good fortune suffered unprecedented circumstances this time that after it became Suan's star beast, this immortal deer seemed even more psychic, its power clearly stronger than before. Wanyue looked at Su Xing and continuously grinned coldly, not expecting that a lucky success would make the divine physician's star beast even more powerful. Next is to help you. Su Xing nodded his head as he extended his hand to pet the good fortune. This star beast was very gentle. Feeling the clear light all over its body would give one a peaceful feeling from the heart. You were serious? Wanyue's brows rose, showing a cautious expression. If a gentleman says it, it shall be done as fast as a horse spurred once. Su Xing answered with finality. You must know that the star beast I want to find is the heavenly hero red Luan bird, Wanyue cautiously said. Of course I know, and I even had the fortune to see it. Su Xing smiled and said. Wanyue still wanted to say something, but Su Xing interrupted her. If we aren't enemies, then helping you is naturally understandable. Maybe someday I'll even have to count on your arrow arts, Huarong. Wanyue contemplated for a time, as if she was considering the advantages and disadvantages of this matter, but she thought back and forth, only finding this was pure benefit with little harm to herself. Originally, for Wanyue to capture the Red Luan on her own would be very difficult. Without outside force suppressing the Red Luan, however more brilliant she was with her arrow arts, she basically could not display them. Now, with Su Xing acting to help her in addition to the efficacious star and Daochuan's exceptional medical arts, to capture the Red Luan bird indeed had a very big chance. Wanyue did not wish to be overly careful. Moreover, she indeed very much wanted to obtain the Red Luan. Then good, I shall cooperate with you. Happy to cooperate. Su Xing extended his hand. Wanyue was somewhat puzzled. She hesitated, and then she also extended a hand, clasping his. Atop an ancient tree in the Fairyland Spirit platform, the Red Luan currently lied down asleep in a tree. Its transparent vermilion wings sparkled, clear and gorgeous. Those feathers flowing red light enveloped the tree, making it appear exceptionally enchanting. Big brother, be more alert. And Suan softly reminded. Su Xing nodded. His hand rose, and the 24 heaven-tearing and Langia flying swords spurted forth with a whoosh. The two lights of gold and green reflected each other and lingered. The flying swords revolved. Su Xing shot a glance, and then he formed a hand seal. Purple clouds shot into the sky, becoming an enormous hand that grabbed at the Red Luan. It was at the same time that the 24 flying swords like divine orders, slashing with whooshes. The Red Luan opened its eyes, shrieking a bird cry. Scarlet light burned the skies and shot out. Suddenly, there was an explosion. Su Xing leaned. He took several steps forward and raised the intertwined branch sword to attack. Several dozen li away, atop a similar tree. Wanyue stood facing the wind, the corners of her skirt flapping. Her slim curves were clearly visible. Wanyue pulled the bow into a full moon, knocked an arrow, and passed star energy through the bowstring into the arrow. Those elegant pupils were steady as water, completely without ripples. The faraway explosion and sounds of battle were increasingly fierce. Faintly, she could see the giant Red Luan continuously flap its wings, red light flowing out of its feathers, like a galaxy hanging upside down, as if everything was falling down. A figure quickly moved to and fro within the scarlet light, endlessly launching attacks on the Red Luan. Occasionally, it forced to the limit by the Red Luan, yet it still was unwilling to surrender. Around his body were 24 powerful flying swords dancing about. The Red Luan began to suppress all around it. Each time its wings flapped, it would make that youth show little panic. Sometimes, he would be cut by that scarlet light and left with ghastly wounds, but everything was incapable of obstructing the youth's attacks on the Red Luan, as if he would never stop. Wanyue was completely silent. A vexed expression appeared in her bright eyes. She, the hero star, believed that no one in Liangshan could make her stirred. Originally, even acquaintances that she had good relations with came to seek her out to participate in the star duels together. She had not the slightest bit of interest, and the reason was very simple. Wanyue had never needed manipulation and was unwilling to be anyone's battle puppet. The things able to make the hero's star move did not exist at all. But a destabilization had now appeared in this sort of frame of mind. Ever since that man called Su Xing saved her, he gave her an extremely exceptional feeling. Obviously, he was a star master, yet he completely lacked the attitude a star master ought to have. Avarice, bloodthirst, recklessness, attacks by any means, nothing of the sort manifested on his person. Regardless of whether this was an act or his natural inclination, at least he indeed made Wanyue feel bewildered, especially here and now. Su Xing was reflected in Wanyue's pupils. He was currently staking all of his power to pester the Red Luan, clearly in a precarious position. For that firm expression, Wanyue had that instant of a stirred heart. Wanyue locked the bow and arrow onto Su Xing, her expression cold as ice. So long as she was willing, just by relaxing a finger, the hero's star had absolute confidence that she could use the 10,000-li god-killing arrow to erase this man that disturbed her mind completely from the world. With just a gentle release, the girl's breathing was somewhat indistinct. After several breaths, the arrow already was a completely white light. The hero star little Li Guanghua Rong was silent for a long time, her arms becoming a horizontal line. In that moment, the wind flowing around Wanyue's whole body immediately stilled. Wanyue's eyes flashed with a chill. The bowstring cried, the arrow whistled, launching an attack, and there was a wild wind. Bang! A powerful hurricane shook the air surrounding Wanyue's whole body crashed around. The arrow carved out a trail that disappeared before her eyes. When it appeared in front of Su Xing, the 10,000-li god-killing arrow stuck into the Red Luan's belly with a bang. There was red light just like shattered glass. The Luan bird screamed. Wanyue no longer hesitated, immediately using several trees as springboards to fly over. Life-returning magic hands. And Suan's white fingers danced. The good fortune nearby raised its antlers, and an indestructible life force surrounded Su Xing's whole body that resisted the Red Luan's crimson light. Su Xing shouted, and the flying swords simultaneously attacked. The red light of the Red Luan's whole body was like a barrier that blocked the flying sword's attack. At the same time, its graceful crest angrily shot a ray of light at Su Xing. This damned man honestly was too inseparable. Big brother, look out! And Suan cried out. The Red Luan shook out a tidal wave that sent Su Xing flying, several dozen crimson lights like poison snakes biting at him. A soft body caught Su Xing in midair. This soft feeling made Su Xing nearly reluctant to leave. It was none other than Wanyue's chest. Leave this to your servant. Wanyue saw the Red Luan unexpectedly had been exhausted to the limit by Su Xing. She was very surprised and unwilling to let Su Xing finish the whole thing for her. Su Xing descended onto a tree, raised his head and just happened to spot Wanyue's graceful heroic beauty. The sound of air shattering echoed continuously. Wanyue drew the bow and fired an arrow like a flashing meteor that tore apart the scarlet light. The Red Luan flapped its wings. A crimson-colored storm engulfed the surrounding mountain forest. Its whole body emitted light as if it was a dazzling sun. Hey! Wanyue's eyes were burning. This time, she pulled the bow and fired an arrow with a suddenly different imposing air. Her whole body's energy seemed to burn inside the arrow. An arrow was launched. Unexpectedly, the arrow produced Luan bird phantoms, and one of them intermingled directly into the Red Luan's abdomen. There was a loud boom. A phoenix cry trailed off. A blinding light glittered in the sky. Su Xing opened his eyes and saw Wanyue was falling like a kite with its string cut. He caught the girl upon his chest with both hands. Seeing her do her utmost, he was somewhat startled. I have exhausted my abilities. With this, you and I are even. Wanyue said in a soft voice. Su Xing nodded, not saying a word. Hero star little Li Guanghua Rong mounted the Red Luan's back, her face calm as a dry well. The Luan and the beauty, a distinctive aura of dignity, while Wanyue looked down at the Su Xing and efficacious star on the ground. The heavenly hero Red Luan spread its wings, the transparent wings just like drifting smoke. Immediately, they disappeared from the airspace above Evil Smiting Hall. Elder sister Wanyue's Red Luan honestly is truly beautiful. And Suan slightly smiled. Su Xing nodded. No wonder Wanyue willingly faced danger to go capture the heavenly hero Red Luan bird. With this sort of divine bird assisting her, she practically could look down on Liangshan. If elder sister Wanyue can follow big brother in the future, that would be great. And Suan longed for this without expectations. In their close contact over these few days, hero star Hua Wanyue gave the efficacious star a profound impression. Not only were her arrow arts unrivaled under the heavens, how she conducted herself also made Suan feel very much that they were kindred spirits, especially each and every one of her actions when they confronted the little Marquis of Wen, which made Suan feel deep admiration. Don't be too greedy, just let nature take its course. Su Xing smiled. And Suan calmly smiled and agreed. However, Suan can tell that elder sister Hua Wanyue truly has a very good impression of big brother. If we can actually bring elder sister Hua Wanyue back, the other elder sisters definitely will be shocked to death. This time, we've spent a lot of time. Xinjie and the others must be worried. Let's go. Su Xing was thankful, for he did not think they unexpectedly could strike a good relationship with the ranked 9th hero star. The loss of the jade-armed craftsman actually had been washed very cleanly away. And Suan hummed in agreement. Seeing the girl's eyes conceal reluctance, Su Xing said, "Little sister, is there something else?" "No." And Suan said, "You don't believe in even big brother?" Su Xing joked. It is just that this is the first time Suan has gone out with big brother. This makes Suan feel a bit reluctant to leave. And Suan faintly smiled. Su Xing saw that Suan's heart was remorseful. He extended a hand, pulled Suan to his chest, and then he kissed her. And Suan tenderly kissed back. A moment later, Su Xing said, "How about we stay a bit longer?" With her cheeks slightly red, Suan lightly shook her head. Her expression was already satisfied. Suan knows the severity of things. Now, time is extremely important for big brother. If we continue to not leave, sister Xinjie will be worried to death. The elder sisters must be impatient thinking of going to Evil Smiting Hall together with big brother. The divine physician ambiguously winked, as if she had a deeper meaning. Su Xing naturally understood Suan's thoughts. The sisters all knew about the ambiguous things that happened between he and Wu Xinjie. To be frank, although Su Xing and Wu Xinjie made that sort of promise for after Evil Smiting Hall, but in actuality, his heart was somewhat hesitant of the consequences this act would bring. Su Xing at this time suddenly recalled something. "Suan, I have something for you to look at." "En? What is it?" Su Xing's hand called forth 2 bottled, one yellow and the other blue. The yellow-white jade bottle was like a blaze, with a yang fire warmth. The blue-white jade bottle apparently was a wintry chill to the bone. The aura the 2 bottles emitted seemingly was combined into one body. "This is..." And Suan's brow slightly creased. "This is something Chai Ling gave me." Su Xing scratched his hair, somewhat embarrassed. "It's called Yin Yang Lovemaking Powder," and Suan jolted, and her face turned thoroughly red. "Yin Yang Lovemaking Powder, Yin Yang Lovemaking Powder." A clamor rose in the void immortal's abode. Wu Xinjie stared dumbfounded at the ambiguously smiling Chai Ling. After a moment, she was able to recover from the words this graceful queen said. But as for the other beauties in the immortal's abode, even the most aloof Gongsun Huang or the most indifferent Yanizhen, and even Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei each lifted their gazes, shooting glances towards Chai Ling. The noble star was unruffled. Looking around at everyone, her smile was very mysterious. "What, did Su Xing not inform you? You truly gave young lord the Yin Yang Lovemaking Powder?" Wu Xinjie's eyes glowed. "Why would this palace deceive you?" Chai Ling's eyes were charming, carrying a sort of indescribable high and mighty grace. "Originally, when you and Yan Qing accompanied that man, this palace discerned the relationship between you. That night, this palace then raised with him the request for him to use Yin Yang Lovemaking Powder to take your virginity. It was to be given to you, knowledge star, for you to lose your virginity." The little whirlwind speaking so directly made Wu Xinjie's face red. "You actually had such a request?" Wu Xinjie could not say whether she should be happy or angry. And then? After Wu Xinjie finished asking, she could not help but laugh. Afterwards, she went to the main hall and discovered Su Xing battling Chai Ling in an astronomical figure situation. At that time, she had thought it was a game to settle a victor and loser. She had not expected such a thing to have happened prior. Speaking of this, Chai Ling's eyes showed a slight difference, which was followed with a smile. This palace only wished to probe him. Perhaps he saw this palace's intent, in the end not only declining, but even berating this palace. The golden thread feather fan opened, and Chai Ling's brows rose. All of the girls smiled. Then, they had Chai Ling speak about the whole sequence of events that night. Even Wu Xiao was slightly moved. Originally, she felt Su Xing's cunning plots were many but conducted himself as reliable. However, she never would have thought that Su Xing unexpectedly would have the yin-yang love-making powder yet never bring it up. Wu Xiao also could tell if the man truly wanted to use the yin-yang love-making powder, perhaps there would be several sisters that would not decline. Wu Xinjie was resentful. Chai Ling, why did you not inform elder sister earlier? Feeling that her own words were too explicit, Wu Xinjie stuck out her tongue. That man certainly is fortunate. Is he so worthy for the knowledge star to do this? Chai Ling was puzzled. Worthy or not, Xinjie has her own propriety. On the contrary, Chai Ling, you and young lord ingested the together to hell. They say that this together to hell can make the man and woman's hearts into one, drawing them into a harmonization of yin and yang. If combined with a yin and yang medicine like the yin-yang love-making powder, then that is certainly a very great benefit to young lord for you, so much so that even you can inherit a portion of young lord's power. How is it, little sister Chai Ling? This is but a good opportunity for you to participate in the star duels. Wu Xinjie mocked. Chai Ling was stunned. Her white chest bound in a bellyband was tall and straight. Her manner was just like a proud peacock as she disdainfully said, "What joke is this? How could this palace do that sort of filthy thing with a man?" Oh, never expected the Chai Ling that would take her elder sister's virginity as a business transaction could be so bashful. Wu Xinjie harumphed several times. Chai Ling smiled. Soon, you had better think clearly how you will divide that yin-yang love-making powder. It can only be used once, and this palace certainly does not have any more. Of course we will let nature take its course, Wu Xinjie craftily smiled. With so many sisters present, even if the knowledge star was any bolder, she still would not dare speak so directly. Perhaps no one could have nature take its course faster than she could. The knowledge star resourceful star already was fantasizing about having sex inside evil smiting hall. On the other side, Shi Yuan was very depressed. When Gongsun Huang saw her twitch her lips unhappily, she felt this odd. How could the dragon in the clouds know that Shi Yuan was currently seething? If she knew earlier that Su Xing unexpectedly had the yin-yang love-making powder, when they originally had their lover's bath, she definitely would have been the early bird that caught the worm. Truly, this young lady is angered to death, Shi Yuan gnashed her teeth. Later, there was still the knowledge star who would be alone with Su Xing in evil smiting hall. It seemed that Su Xing's first time was about to be eaten. Wu Xiao's expression was somewhat odd seeing the atmosphere inside the immortal's abode. A star maiden losing her virginity was a taboo throughout the 1,000 years of Liangshan. This taboo was not that losing their virginity would bring about some misfortune, catastrophe, or such. Rather, the star generals viewed the star duels as their lives. How could they have the mood to consider this? The proud heavenly stars disdained to engage in sexual activity with those star cultivators. Not executing a star master already was pretty good, and still they thought of sex. Dream on. And even the earthly stars that were of useless strength that could only be bystanders would not give rise to this sort of preposterous idea. Of course, occasionally, an affectionate couple of a star general and star master would appear, and it was only those few exceptions. It was just that these types of exceptions were rarely seen, and along with the increasing cruelty and intensity of Liangshan's star duels between heavenly spirits and earthly fiends, they basically could not appear now. As for those that used contemptible means to forces themselves onto star generals, they would first of all be turned into scattered smoke and ash by Chao Gai, not worth any consideration. In particular, those that would commit themselves so wholly like the ranked third heavenly star were unprecedented. Wu Xiao shook her head, feeling that the ninth-generation star duels truly were outrageous. Secretly, she somewhat despised the knowledge star's self-degrading conduct. Wu Xiao suddenly recalled that not long ago, she herself had soaked in a married couple's bath with this man, with even her own incorruptible body having been completely seen. She seemed to not have any qualifications to go look down on this. Wu Xiao's white complexion immediately was dyed with red clouds, which made Lin Yingmei somewhat confused when she saw. Now that Chao Gai has invaded, doing this sort of thing at such a critical moment, your servant feels is not too sensible. Wu Xiao covered up her inner resent, speaking sternly. The harm star's tone was not loud, but it was enough to make them hear clearly the advantages and disadvantages of things. Right, if Su Xing were to do anything to us, would that not make that Chao Gai's retaliation even more severe? Shi Yuan's eyes rolled, and she chuckled hypocritically. In her heart, she was scheming to first have Su Xing safely pass through Evil Smiting Hall and then proceed. Afterwards, she would continue to find chances. Watch this young lady finish him off. Any way it was put, Su Xing's first time was of course to be given to this young lady's first night. This sort of thing had better wait until after Su Xing blooms that something meditative mind lotus flower whatever. Shi Yuan said. And, so as to avoid giving master variables. Very rarely seen, Yan Yizhen also opened her mouth to approve. Your Honor, little e, this way of thinking is wrong. Now that Chao Gai and Maiden Mountain are being overbearing, closing in step by step, whatever Maiden Mountain wishes to do, even if only for feeling that young Lord Su Xing has pried into whatever heavenly mystery, breaking the balance of the star duels, contracting us sisters to let us leave, it is because of this that we cannot have fear. Forming a union with young Lord at this time is perfect for stating the intentions of us sisters. Wu Xinjie said in dead earnest, righteously. The girls present were taken aback upon hearing this. Even Lin Yingmei was somewhat approving of the idea. And it cannot be said for certain that we can borrow this opportunity to use the yin-yang love-making powder to make young Lord's meditative mind lotus flower bloom. Wu Xinjie earnestly asserted. Her words were not without logic, and all of the girls were unable to counter. For the knowledge star to say such words, it would be better to first ask Su Xing's first wife for her opinion. Chai Ling was the first to return to her senses, seemingly smiling yet not as she looked at Lin Yingmei. As the first star general to sign a contract with Su Xing, as well as being the renowned panther head, the feelings between the two need not be elaborated on. This first wife naturally should be so. Lin Yingmei was being watched this attentively by the sisters. She shook her head, do not ask your servant about this sort of matter. Su Xing's first wife declined to comment. What are you talking about, a first wife? All of the girls currently were discussing very lively. At this time, a magnetic voice came over. Su Xing and Ensuan walked out, just happening to hear that they were talking about something. The first wife is obviously referring to elder sister Yingmei. Shi Yuan giggled. Su Xing was taken aback, and then he also chuckled. Young lord, this time you used relatively more time. Did you encounter someone again? Wu Xinjie came forward and curiously asked. The efficacious star's star beast ought to have been captured easily, but such a long time according to convention made Wu Xinjie surmise they probably encountered a sister again. Wu Xinjie guessed correctly, but she absolutely did not expect that they encountered the arrow spear double absolutes hero star Little Li Guang Huarong. This was but an exceptional character in the 108 star maidens. Did the hero star inconvenience young master? Lin Yingmei wrinkled her brow. She asked about what the other girls were worried about. Not only did she not inconvenience Big Brother was even a big help to her. And Suan slightly smiled, briefly summarizing the event. After hearing the efficacious star's words, all of the girls present, even noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Ling and Wu Xiao felt shocked. You unexpectedly had such a good relationship with the hero star. This honestly is too inconceivable. Chai Ling covered her mouth, a luster of being unable to comprehend this flashing in her eyes. The expression she had as she gazed at Su Xing was full of unprecedented shock. Just what was the background of the man in front of her, to unexpectedly be on good terms with even the 9th-rank hero star? The little whirlwind and Hua Rong had prior contact. Naturally, she was very clear about Hua Wanyue's personality. Elegant without loss of nobility, stunning without loss of dignity. Let alone that this sort of seemingly god-descended star maiden would make other star masters feel the greatest pressure, even Chai Ling herself was unable to avoid feeling weak when facing this elder sister. Is it so strange? Su Xing pondered, bewildered by their shock. Regardless of whatever, if you treated other people amicably, they will treat you the same. Was this not inevitable? Chai Ling's eyes were powerless. Likely, it was precisely this kind of personality that was incompatible with a star master that would make the sisters so moved. The little whirlwind glanced at Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei and inwardly surmised. Young lord, has little sister's star beast been obtained? Wu Xinjie changed over to another topic. And Suan's smile was very happy, and an immortal deer encircled in immortal qi appeared at her side. Is it the East Sea good fortune? Wu Xinjie was at a loss for words. Everyone present again was in a hubbub. Shi Yuan was very perplexed at her sister's shock. Wu Xinjie, is this good fortune very powerful? Actually, it is not very powerful, but capturing it is exceptionally difficult. Without several months' time, it is very difficult to capture. Wu Xinjie felt the events that occurred when Su Xing and Ansuan went to Evil Smiting Hall this time were far beyond reason. Ansuan, how did you do it? Wu Xinjie asked. It was all due to the solution Big Brother thought of. Ansuan smiled and spoke clearly about what happened. All of the girls clearly understood. Looking at Su Xing, they truly admired him to death, fancy that he could unexpectedly think of using this kind of hunting method to influence the good fortune. Next is Little Yi's star beast. Su Xing concentrated his attention on skillful star wanderer Yanizhen. Yanizhen nodded. Young lord, from now on, you must be extremely careful. Wu Xinjie exhorted. Su Xing understood this very clearly. Capturing an earthly star beast was considerably easy, but after the heavenly stars, the star beasts were extremely challenging. This point he could tell from watching hero star Hua Wanyue capture the heavenly hero red Luan bird. After this bird first went through Hua Wanyue's all-out battle, it was capture only after it went through the combined efforts of Su Xing, Ansuan, and Hua Wanyue. If it was during normal times, it simply was impossible to obtain. No wonder Hua Wanyue would behold a whole new level of respect for Su Xing. This Nuwa jade has already been refined. Little Yi, you take it to use first. Tang Lianxin's wrist flipped, and a beautiful piece of jade flew out. Having gone through so many days of Su Xing being in Evil Smiting Hall, Tang Lianxin was not idle. This jade had been forged into a frontlet, glittering and glowing, translucent. Relic blade sand, galaxy sand, and every sort of material had been poured in. Relying on Tang Lianxin's superb tool refinement methods, this lost treasure Nuwa jade surprisingly had been refined into a heavenly spirit-grade astral treasure. Slave servant does not need it at all. Yanizhen looked at the Nuwa jade and declined. The other little sisters are even more important. But going to Evil Smiting Hall is more dangerous. It is better to take it, and then turn it over to the other little sisters afterwards. Wu Xinjie smiled and said. Little Yi, take it. Su Xing also urged her. Yanizhen relented, putting the Nuwa jade onto her forehead. Once the jade stuck on, there was a glittering divine luster, flooding over Yanizhen's whole body. Her flower crown raised multicolored light, and the short hair on the sides of her head slightly fluttered. She appeared very much like a divine being. Let's go. There was no time to lose. Su Xing and Yanizhen did not waste any time. Helping Shi Yuan, Tang Lianxin and Ansuan capture their star beasts had used close to half a month. The time remaining already was not much. The two simultaneously opened their star crests, imbuing them into evil smiting hall. A moment later, light flashed, and Su Xing and Yan Yizhen disappeared from the immortal's abode. The scenery changed. In the surroundings was a sea of trees. Gazing into the distance, there were green mountains in a haze, a sea of clouds rolling about. Before the two had a firm footing, they suddenly heard a seemingly thunderclap-like sound flash by. Su Xing had yet to understand what was happening when an enormous roar came over, and a dark shadow covered them. The birds of the forest scattered everywhere in a panic. Su Xing and Yan Yizhen simultaneously lifted their heads to look. They saw a strange spirit beast currently overlooking them. That spirit beast was somewhat out of place. Its body was like a dragon's, with scales, but it had a phoenix head. Also, it had two wide five-colored wings, but then it also had dragon claws. Seemingly like a dragon yet not, seemingly like a phoenix yet not, it was more like a dragon and phoenix had combined. Void Dragon False Phoenix. Fuck, how'd we bump into it this quickly? Su Xing was inwardly startled. Star Generals and Star Masters using the evil smiting writ would automatically be delivered to the certain surroundings of the Star General's Star Beast according to the Star General's Star Crest. Although it could be said to be certain surroundings, at the minimum it was more than 1,000 kilometers in size. Like Su Xing's previous 3 trips, besides Shi Yuan's finding things relatively quickly, Tang Lianxin and Ansuan looked around for several days before finding their Star Beast, stalling for a long time. But the first time, they helped a heavenly star capture a star beast, and still they did not expect that to be quick. Without even any time to warm up, the star beast seemed to have waited a long time. If it was some other star beast, Su Xing would not be so likely as to curse with an unsightly face. As it happened, this was the Void Dragon False Phoenix, the skillful star's strongest star beast, but as far as the absolute in boxing Yan Yizhen was concerned, it completely lacked usefulness. Furthermore, to defeat this type of star beast was exceptionally difficult. The Void Dragon False Phoenix instantly spurted out a large rain of fire. When this fire rain fell, it was like the galaxy hung upside down. 12 flying swords rushed out of his body to form a sword shield. Yan Yizhen's figure swayed, and like a flat leaf boat in the middle of a wildly swelling river, she swam through gaps in the sea of fire by a hair's breadth. Her indifferent figure did not have the slightest bit of wasteful movement or hesitation. All of a sudden, she pulled her body up. Like an arrow loosed from its bowstring, she flew straight for the Void Dragon False Phoenix's head. While the maid was in midair, her right fist already violently waved. The Yang Fire Star energy on her right fist was already shooting out. Muffled bang, bang sounds continuously rang. The Void Dragon False Phoenix's crest and body continuously unleashed a flower of Yang fire. Clearly it had already been struck by the fist, but this Void Dragon False Phoenix did not react at all. It cried out loudly, and after the rain of fire, it spat out a violent gale. The forest and the earth were blown and uprooted. But it did not have the slightest effect on Yan Yizhen. Even if this sort of attack was any more concentrated, as far as the nimble Yan Yizhen was concerned, this practically was wandering about freely. The Yan Yizhen that completely did not want to waste time wanted to end things quickly. Her speed already surpassed the limits of normal people. Even her speed in retreats was faster than the speed of these attacks. After images repeatedly emerged behind her. Hiss! The Void Dragon False Phoenix screeched loudly. Its dragon claws already brought a powerful wind pressure that fiercely swept towards Yan Yizhen. Bang! There was an enormous noise, and the powerful dragon claws ruthlessly carved a trench into the earth. Yan Yizhen nimbly flashed past, her jacket untouched. A slight sneer floated along the corner of Yan Yizhen's mouth. The maid's vigorous body techniques wandered about nimbly, leaving the Void Dragon False Phoenix's power with no place to show itself, but Yan Yizhen similarly had no way out like the Void Dragon False Phoenix. Star beasts like this Void Dragon False Phoenix since ancient times could not be captured. Even if Yan Yizhen's punch could break through that thick dragon scale and plumage of the Void Dragon False Phoenix, that fist-sized hole in its body could not count as an injury. It was completely unable to sway it in the slightest. All of a sudden, the Void Dragon False Phoenix directly swooped down, putting its power into fully displaying its speed. When Yinmei saw this, her fist concentrated strength and mercilessly smashed forth. The Dragon Claw and the Yin-Yang Pisces fists slammed together. Immediately, the weather changed. In the future, in order for star generals to be able to contend against star beasts like this that possessed powerful destructive strength, they generally were at the Matchless realm or had star weapons that reached 5-star. Yinmei at present time had only reached 10,000 Technique 7th stage, and she was far from reaching this distant realm. This slam sent Yinmei flying. The Void Dragon False Phoenix raised its body and dove. Just at this time, 12 green swords blocked in front of it, and Su Xing stopped her. His hands opened and closed. The Langia twisted and attacked with a green hurricane that trapped the Void Dragon False Phoenix, yet the Void Dragon False Phoenix was worthy of being called a terrifying star beast. It incessantly slammed against Langia. This sort of pure power made Su Xing somewhat pained. If it was not for the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo and its manufacture, the flying swords basically could not bear the strike and would be scattered. Master! Yinmei raised her 2 fists of yin and yang, circling around. Don't mind it, we're leaving. Su Xing ordered completely without hesitation. He basically did not want to waste time on the Void Dragon False Phoenix, and he released the Fire Beacon Chariot. Yinmei instantly sprung onto the Fire Beacon Chariot. Su Xing's divine intent moved, and the Fire Beacon Chariot immediately escaped several thousand meters away in a few breaths' time. Directly reaching a safe area, only then did Su Xing form a hand seal. Langia suddenly appeared out of thin air, the evil-suppressing clear light unexpectedly knocked somewhat to pieces. The Void Dragon False Phoenix's powerful strength was visible. Langia returned into his body. Su Xing panted. It was a pity that he could not use prehistoric spirit treasures, otherwise he actually had the chance to capture this Void Dragon False Phoenix. Yinmei was an expert in boxing. As a martial general, mounting, riding and such on a star beast was undoable. Su Xing did not truly wish to rush through things. As far as each of the beauties were concerned, he did not want to favor any one over the others. We'd better find a support-type star beast. Even if it will take some time, it'll be worth it. Su Xing turned his head and said. Master, that is. Yinmei gazed at the ground, and her expression suddenly moved. Following Yinmei's gaze, Su Xing spotted a hidden lake about 100 meters wide inside a grove. In relation to the 1,000-meter-sized Evil Smiting Hall, this lake was not at all large. The jungle was layered and the cliffs were encircling. If one did not carefully look, they genuinely would not find a trace. To be able to make Yinmei's expression somewhat moved, this lake was not ordinary. This lake was a giant circle. In the lake's center was a luxuriant little island that divided the lake into a wonderful taiji pattern, too, one half was yin and the other was yang. Su Xing recalled that among Yinmei's star beasts were the ones called the yin-yang carps that dwelled in the yin-yang lake. These sort of yin-yang carps were a very perfect star beast for Yinmei. Furthermore, capturing it would not be so difficult as the Void Dragon False Phoenix, but besides that the appearance of this lake was somewhat ordinary, before he came to Evil Smiting Hall he crammed on the 2 extreme environments of the yin-yang lake that had, one frigid, and, one warm, the yin-yang carps lived in. Su Xing descended onto one side of the islet in the lake's center. The lake water was extremely clear, and he could make out countless carps swimming about in the water, but these carps were ordinary, not the least bit as imposing as the legendary star beast, yin-yang carps. Master, reportedly, the yin-yang carps will only show their form after assimilating the male and female qi of yin and yang. Yinmei's tone was undisturbed. Star beasts were a star general's life caste beast, and she had several memories pertaining to the yin-yang carps. Assimilate the male and female qi of yin and yang? How's this done? Su Xing blushed with shame. Yinmei pondered, gazed at Su Xing a little. Slave servant will first go see whether or not the yin-yang carps can be found. When Su Xing saw this, he did not have a better solution. Yanizhen gently threw off her maid's skirt, exposing a set of small underwear. Her twin peaks stood tall, as if they were about to burst out from her clothes, completely unable to conceal her sensual appearance, and a pair of under-trousers, 3, just happened to conceal her shameful place, making one's blood vessels swell. Her skin surpassed snow and competed against frost. The scars left behind by her excellent fighting talent did not appear at all on Yanizhen's skin. Yanizhen stooped, her vermilion pupils showing a gentle expression. Her short hair was neat against her ears, refined and distinct. On Yanizhen's glossy back, under the light of evil smiting Hall's sun, a dark red tattoo practically covered the girl's snowy back. Under the light, it was like a fire burning, exceptionally enchanting. In that instant, it was somewhat unreal. "Master, slave servant shall go down first," Yanizhen softly said. She was generously exposed in front of Su Xing's eyes, not minding the sensual scene she laid bare. "Wait a moment." Su Xing looked at this big lake, saying, "Since this is the yin-yang lake, then with the lake's island as the center, you'll look at one half, and I'll look at the other." Yanizhen did not object. She then took a deep breath, and like a mermaid dove into the lake, her splash being restrained. There were nearly no waves. Through the limpid water's surface, Su Xing could clearly see the girl's snow-white body cruise under the water, deftly and sharply. The schools of carp in the lake successively scattered in alarm. The maid seemed to dance in the water, graceful and refined. Su Xing took a deep breath, also took of his clothes, and jumped into the lake. The moment he entered the lake water, Su Xing instantly felt the star energy in his whole body was seemingly disappearing. The entire world seemed to fade from existence, and there was a sort of feeling where his mind went blank. After several seconds, he recovered. It seemed this lake water had problems, as expected. Su Xing swam over, carefully observing the countless schools of carp. The appearance of these carps was not at all odd in the slightest. Besides the fish's bodies being extremely long, the fish scales were exceptionally glossy. Su Xing wanted to go grab them. These carps were extremely slippery in their evasion. Besides these carps, there were many aquatic plants in the lake. These aquatic plants were very inconvenient. When Su Xing chased several of these carps, a moment of carelessness would leave him entangled by the plants. These aquatic grasses also were seemingly intelligent, winding around Su Xing's whole body. Underwater Su Xing was incapable of exerting star energy. He could only go tear them off, yet these plants would return. The thorns stuck into his skin with some pain. Su Xing's hand grabbed at them, ripping apart a bunch of grass. At this time, a storm suddenly blew past underwater. Su Xing turned his head to look, only spotting a tide pouncing towards him. This lake water was not like any other. These countless water grasses also formed a storm. Su Xing thought, "Fuck," and he adopted a battle stance. Just at this moment, an unstoppable hurricane tore the aquatic plants to shreds. Yanizhen already swam towards him. The maid was just like a sharp sword conquering every obstacle. Countless water plants endlessly were sucked over and wove into tightly wrapped cage to trap Yanizhen. When Su Xing saw, he immediately swam over, palm chopping through. Very quickly he reached Yanizhen's front. The two glances at each other, placing their backs against each other with tacit understanding. In the water, the girl's soft and supple but stuck to his, a sensual feeling. The two of them joined forces, very quickly cleaning out these spirit grasses guarding the water's depths. The lake water washed away. Su Xing and Yanizhen breached the water's surface and took deep breaths. "Did you find anything?" Su Xing asked. Yanizhen apologetically shook her head. "I didn't see anything special either." "Let's get out first," Su Xing said. Climbing ashore, he sat on the beach. Su Xing wiped his face. At this time, Yanizhen also swam over. At the moment, the maid was dressed very erotically. Due to the water plant's evil, those light underpants already were shredded with many holes, as if countless rags covered the girl's body. Originally, the body not covered with clothes now had even less to cover it with. There was close to no difference to being naked. Su Xing grew warm, and his eyes were glued. Yanizhen lowered her head and saw her own appearance yet remained unmoved. Perhaps to her, being seen by her master was not at all a big deal. What do we do now? Su Xing asked somewhat worriedly. Master, why not wait until the time yin-yang alternates? Perhaps the yin-yang carps will appear. Yanizhen thought. When yin and yang alternated was when the sun set and the moonlight arose. This time in Liangshan continent was called the time of yin and yang. Su Xing thought and could only do this. The yin-yang carps were not only the skillful star's exceptional star beast, they were even more of a legendary spirit beast in Liangshan continent. The times it would appear had always been very mysterious, always with certain conditions. To reap without sowing was impossible. Looking at the sky, there was still some time before evil smiting Hall's time of yin and yang was reached. Master, do you need slave servant to attend to master with a bath? Yanizhen saw they still had time and thus respectfully spoke. Su Xing gasped, and then he contrarily smiled, Little E, you lie down. This time, just let me serve you. This is something that slave servant ought to do. Yanizhen shook her head in refusal. This is an order. Su Xing smiled, not allowing her to refuse. Yanizhen still was somewhat hesitant. I learned some massage finger techniques from Suan. Little E, try them out to see how they are. Su Xing rubbed his palms. Slave servant follows orders. Yanizhen's back lied down upon a long towel. The girl's sexy curves made Su Xing discover that he was unexpectedly a bit nervous. He took a deep breath, extended a hand to gently take off and undo the strings of Yanizhen's underwear. Losing the cover of the underwear on her upper body, the girl's spotlessly white back was plainly visible and exposed to Su Xing's eyes. The state of mind of even the Su Xing who had plenty of experience with erotic sights was disturbed. Yanizhen's skin was very snow-white, but in that instant her clothes were undone, there was a close-to-white dazzling sight. Under the sunlight, the she was lustrously delicate. Su Xing eased his mind, his heartbeat unable to help but somewhat accelerate. Regardless of how it was put, this was but the first time he was this intimate with Yanizhen since after the bath in the mirror's flower stream. That time was because of some reasons, so it seemed that erotic married couples' bath in actuality was not that passionate. But this time was completely different. In a clear and refreshing autumn, with no one to disturb them, they wholly could relax and enjoy this. It is better to let slave servant do it, Yanizhen said in a low voice. The girl also showed rare nervousness. The skillful star's state of mind probably was no better than Su Xing's. I've never talked to Little E at all. You've been at my side, yet I've wronged you. Su Xing sighed. Slave servant is not wronged at all. Yanizhen softly replied. Remembering that Yanizhen always was silently at his side, Su Xing smiled. He wholeheartedly relaxed, no longer minding that much. His fingers gently swiped across Yanizhen's glossy back. When his fingertips touched the woman's spotlessly white back, a sort of electric current filled his whole body. Su Xing trembled, and he took a deep breath. Her body practically was an unimaginable softness. Just by barely touching, the blood inside his body sped up, and a sort of hormone even more presented a breakout tendency. This kind of odd feeling was not inferior to when Shi Yuan and Wu Xinjie used the fine lady's essence gathering. The dark red tattoo on Yanizhen's back was alluring like fire, as if it was a phoenix of nirvana. Tracing the patterns on its surface, his fingers gently stroked. Yanizhen's breathing quietly sped up. The red tattoo seemingly had some mesmerizing magic power. Su Xing could not help exploring down her body, following along the lines of her body with kisses. The movements of his fingers did not pause, tenderly stroking whatever brought him enticement. Master, Yanizhen moaned. Ah. I'm sorry. Su Xing was roused from losing himself, and he apologetically spoke. Yan Yizhen turned around, and her underwear fell. Those plump twin peaks stood tall. She completely did not have any intention to cover them. Yan Yizhen's cheeks were crimson, her cold pupils containing a rarely seen unfocusedness. Next, let slave servant serve master, Yan Yizhen said. Su Xing had no way to decline. Don't you want put your clothes on? How could he have anticipated that Yan Yizhen would crawl to Su Xing's front like a kitten? Her vermilion pupils were very beautiful and very unfocused. The maid's lips slightly parted, emitting a fragrant air. Her two hands similarly with tender feelings leisurely stroking the wounds cut by the water plants over Su Xing's whole body. Su Xing drew in a sharp breath. Rather than say it was a painful feeling, it was more accurate to say it was a supreme pleasure. Master, yin-yang essence qi can also make the yin-yang carps reveal themselves. Does master want to try it with slave servant? Yan Yizhen's tone was very seductive. How could Su Xing not know her meaning? Little E, are you serious? Su Xing asked in the end. Slave servant is serious. Yan Yizhen climbed onto Su Xing's shoulders, her towering breasts sticking tightly to Su Xing's stomach, making skin contact. Both of Su Xing's hands embraced her, and then he kissed her. The maid kissed back, that pair of pupils that originally should have been full of detachment were now brimming with deep seduction, different from the other sisters. Their star dual covenants with Su Xing had all been kiss contracts. Having already sampled the feeling of deep kissing with Su Xing, this still was the first time Yan Yizhen deep kissed with Su Xing. Yan Yizhen's eyes slowly closed, and for a time, she sunk in. They flipped over. Su Xing pushed Yan Yizhen down onto the beach, their tongues all the more linked together. Her snow-white skin and red lips writhed, and Su Xing's hands could not help but wander over Yan Yizhen's beautiful body. From her bulging mountains to her sunken hidden cave, they were all covered with the traces of his fingers. This was somewhat more tender than the massage from before. Yan Yizhen tightly hugged onto him as if she were drowning. Compared to Su Xing, Yan Yizhen seemed to completely lack experience. Both of her hands grabbed Su Xing's back, and her slender jade thighs could only tightly close. Allowing him to do whatever he pleased, this made Su Xing's lower body seem about to explode, apparently difficult to bear, yet he did not say anything. The tattoo on Yan Yizhen's back was increasingly alluring. Just when Su Xing's hands were prepared to push aside that final covering that was the maid's undertrousers, it was at this critical moment that there was always something that would not let him have his wish fulfilled. A shining firework seemed to lift into the sky, blossoming in the lake. Immediately afterwards was a heavenly curtain that was like a covering that enveloped the entire lake. The rays of light roused the two that were somewhat lost in lust. Master. Yan Yizhen suppressed her breaths. She gazed at the sky, her eyes recovering their fighting seriousness. Su Xing had no choice. He could only stare blankly and pull back up the underwear that had been pulled down to Yan Yizhen's thighs. Having him personally put those private garments on her, Yan Yizhen's face was even redder. However, at this time, it was too late to think about this. Yan Yizhen's figure flashed, and she left Su Xing's embrace. That was called a lightning-fast retreat, making Su Xing somewhat puzzled as to whether Yan Yizhen's passion just now was real or fake. The maid's reactions were extremely quick. Grabbing the fallen skirt, she spun around and neatly dressed. This maid's skirt seemingly was a disguise that made the skillful star wanderer Yan Qing turn into something like an apathetic death god. Su Xing also did not delay. He quickly put on his clothes, forcibly suppressed the lust of his burning body, and cursed 100 times from the bottom of his heart the person who disturbed them. Always being like this truly would make him catch some sickness. At this time, an escape light appeared in the skies. When Yan Yizhen saw, she entered the star nest, and Su Xing immediately used the oneness of heaven and man realm to conceal his figure. He did not know who the newcomer was and wanted to get a clear look first. The other party descended into the middle of the island. Waiting a moment, When Su Xing did not see the opponent make any sort of movements at all, he felt odd. Yingmei emerged from the star nest, her whole body taut, both fists on guard. Su Xing glanced at her, his expression hinting to her. Then, he and Yingmei cautiously crept towards the other side of the island. A while later, Su Xing had gone through the island. Far away, he could hear a panting that was seemingly déjà vu. Not in this place. This place is Evil Smiting Hall. What is Princess Highness worried about? That star-concealing canopy has already covered this place. If anyone comes in, we definitely will sense it. A charming voice with a snake-like bewitchment. The charming voice became somewhat intense. Ever since we came out of the void Liangshan, Princess Highness has become more and more unwilling to get intimate with this general. Why, though, could it be because that man did something to Princess? This princess and he have the intertwined branch swords. Doing things like this is not good, and, this time, this general definitely will make Princess feel good. Gentler, Junqing, that playful girl's voice began to gradually pant. Void Liangshan. Intertwined branch swords. Junqing. Princess Highness. Su Xing's nose grew hot. Hey, this could not be so fateful, right? That kind of scene again. Taking a peek, Su Xing was jolted. His originally suppressed lust soared. Yingmei stared dumbfounded. On the beach were two sheep-fat white jade female bodies currently entangled together, each completely threadbare. The two's movements could be said to be erotic. The red-haired girl and the black-haired girl each spread their thighs, their hands pushing against the sand. Their jade peaks stood tall and proud in the wind from this raising movement. Their pelvises were stacked on one another, incessantly rubbing against each other, and the bone-melting sounds of sex came pouring out of their soft throats. The two beauties had seductive physiques, each enjoying a state of supreme bliss through touch, completely unaware this scene between the two of them was being spied upon. Without a doubt. They were precisely Zhao Hanyan and the steadfast star general of double spears Dong Junqing. Princess, do you feel good? Could it be this general cannot best that man? Dong Junqing chuckled. One hand kneaded her own jade peak, her expression extremely lewd. Her face was full of red clouds, her supple skin a dark red color. The Ling Yan princess panted heavily, her expression unfocused, her hands also unable to restrain themselves and randomly groping about. Quickly inform this general, did that man disrespect you, princess? Dong Junqing mutually softly rubbed her a lot. Zhao Hanyan's charming eyes were like silk. That shameless villain, this general definitely will kill him. Dong Junqing flipped her body, propping Zhao Hanyan's legs upon her shoulders, moving even more furiously. Do not do something like that. Zhao Hanyan was unable to restrain her feelings. Still not forgetting to protect Su Xing at this time made Dong Junqing even more furious. Your incorruptible and spotless Princess Highness, you want to be owned by that man, don't you, N? What intertwined branch sword? Princess Highness, allow this general to kill him, all right. Dong Junqing laughed evilly. Zhao Hanyan was completely muddled, just agreeing to anything she heard. Su Xing, the man in question, was somewhat embarrassed towards the scene in front of him. Recalling the tenderness he had with little E just now, Su Xing grew restless just watching. He really wanted to unleash his beastly nature. He grit his teeth in anguish. Looking at Yingmei, the maid was still expressionless as before, a cause for admiration. Suddenly at this moment, Dong Junqing's lewd eyes abruptly became extremely chilly. Who is there? The wind ripped. He previously had this sort of experience. Su Xing basically withdrew instinctively. The ground exploded. The Dong Junqing that also had this experience knew the opponent wanted to evade, instinctively giving chase. Yingmei's fists joined to repel Dong Junqing. The two people successively retreated. Dong Junqing stood completely naked in front of Su Xing. When she saw who it was, she was immediately surprised, her expression angry and resentful. Junqing, what is the matter? Zhao Hanyan also reacted extremely quickly and rushed over, the outer void flying immortal's swords protecting around her body. This time, she actually had finished wearing her palace dress. Ah, Su Xing. When Zhao Hanyan saw Su Xing, her expression was pale then red, red then pale. She screamed herself hoarse, crying out grief-stricken, unaware that her beloved was under the impression she had been forced upon by Su Xing. Ha, ha, Zhao Hanyan, we are brought together by fate. Su Xing laughed out of guilt. Twice he had been caught peeping. No matter that his skin was thick as a city wall, he still blushed. Yoo! Zhao Hanyan was extremely resentful. Was this other half, too, the bane of her existence? How was it that every time she did this sort of thing she would encounter him? Good thing it was me. If anyone else saw, that would be misfortunate. Su Xing fake coughed. How long were you watching? Zhao Hanyan's eyes were opened wide, as if she still had a glimmer of hope Su Xing had not heard any damning remarks. Of course, Su Xing ruthlessly crushed this shred of hope. Even if he wanted to hide anything, he could not. From the moment the star-concealing canopy was used, he was already present within. Then very naturally, he had seen everything from start to finish. Kill him, ah, kill him, ah. Zhao Hanyan's embarrassed face was about to leak water, she was about to go mad. Princess Highness, this general obeys your orders. The steadfast star general of double spears Dong Junqing finished wearing her armor. She coldly chuckled, having long waited for this opportunity. The dragon and phoenix yin yang spears appeared in her hands, and she immediately attacked. Yan Yizhen coldly grunted, simultaneously attacking. Yan Yizhen's speed was extremely swift. All of her imposing air was concentrated into a straight line, becoming a sharp sword. Following this movement, the cold air in the surroundings of the maid's body suddenly stopped. Instantly, by the even quicker speed of her cold-type left fist, everything diffused. An enormous amount of cold chi like mist covered, rapidly appearing on Yan Yizhen's fist. However, instantly, her hand had been encased in a layer of cold frost, even more white rays emerging over her whole body, emitting a bone-chilling cold intent. She opened her eyes, raised her head, and attacked. The skillful star. Never expected you would sign a star duel covenant with this man. Dong Junqing laughed aloud, her double spears dancing. Similarly categorized as a yin-yang, the steadfast star's spear was a storm-like fire exploding like crashing waves in this cold space. Dong Junqing's vigorous figure already appeared above Yan Yizhen, completely ignoring that undisturbed and apathetic expression. The dragon and phoenix yin-yang spears suddenly slashed. Hey! The sky above the forest suddenly exploded with a red and white ball of cold and warm light. The icy chill in the air gave rise to a fierce collision. A large amount of appeared in every inch of space. Due to the differences in temperature, it became a tornado that violently wreaked havoc, rolling large slabs of stone, then frozen in midair into stone pillars by the cold chi. The two were both considered top-notch martial force heavenly generals. Regardless of whether it was the dragon and phoenix yin-yang spears or the yin-yang Pisces fists, both each had their specialties. When they each battled, they were indeed evenly matched, their mights illustrious. An icy spearlight suddenly rose, vigorously cutting off Yan Yizhen's attack and beating her back. A gale surged. It blew Yan Yizhen's maid's skirt aflutter. Her snow-white skin and her beautiful tattoo made Dong Junqing show yearning. Skillful star, if you have the ability, use it to make elder sister happy. Dong Junqing evilly grinned. Yan Yizhen's expression did not change at all. The next second, the atmosphere thickened. Yan Yizhen shifted a step extremely quickly. Like a phantom, she appeared right in front, her palm like a blade that instantly pierced through the cold light Dong Junqing made. She slashed at Dong Junqing's abdomen. Yin Yang palm. Dong Junqing was calm. One spear slashed, its spearlight like a drawn bow, its speed beyond compare, its might ample. She shifted her weight and sprung forward, seemingly soaring yet not. Her imposing air was fierce, and a yin-yang confluence of spearlight immediately shattered with a huala. The hickeys on her snow-white skin were very conspicuously displayed. Those hickeys ran from her cheeks to her stomach, even down to the girl's secret place. They were practically all over her body, and these hickeys were quite new. From Dong Junqing's gaze, it was obvious what had happened. The steadfast star was greatly surprised. Her two eyes glowed, and she smiled licentiously. Little sister skillful star, just now, what obscene things did you do with this man? As it turned out, you are no better than this general. Zhao Hanyan's expression was slightly unsightly. She glanced at Su Xing and wished she could do something to him. Su Xing's hand concentrated purple mansion immortal thunder. He sat idle with the full charge, and he watched Zhao Hanyan. Zhao Hanyan was inwardly resentful. Junqing, cease. She ordered. Little E, you can stop, too. Su Xing said as well. The yin-yang fiercely battled in midair, and thereupon, each side separated. Su Xing and Zhao Hanyan conspicuously stared at one another. This counted as the first time they genuinely saw each other ever since after the purple star birth outline. What made Zhao Hanyan very angry was that the 2 times they had met, her shameful side had been seen. If it was not because of the intertwined branch swords, Princess Ling Yan absolutely would have turned Su Xing into ground dust and scattered ash. It has been so long since we last met, Su Xing. You still like to be a voyeur. Zhao Hanyan's tone sunk. What does this have to do with me being a voyeur? If it wasn't for Zhao Hanyan being fond of polishing mirrors, how could I have seen it? Su Xing also felt very innocent. He had never thought of wanting to see this kind of performance. You. Su Xing saying this so directly made Zhao Hanyan's face turn red and glare. In actuality, these 2 times made Zhao Hanyan feel very wronged. The first time in the Void Liangshan was done only because no one would go for the purple star grade. Who would have known that Su Xing, as it turned out, was present, and this was the result. Now, the second time in Evil Smiting Hall, Zhao Hanyan and Dong Junqing had specially learned their lesson when they were searching for the Yin-Yang Lake. In advance, they had activated the star-concealing canopy to cover a range of 1,000 meters so as to avoid being peeped on again. However, they truly wondered if it was fate provoking this guy, for Su Xing unexpectedly was already present at this lake. Fortunately, they had experience. Zhao Hanyan was somewhat thick in skin, so she made herself calm down. Why are you in this place? Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Was Evil Smiting Hall not large and without limit? Unexpectedly, to be able to run into Zhao Hanyan made Su Xing feel very perplexed. Of course it is to find a star beast. Zhao Hanyan replied matter-of-factly. Then she glanced at Yanizhen, thoughtfully saying, the yin-yang Pisces fists. Skillful star wanderer Yanqing, huh? Last time in the Void Liangshan, was your star general not Panther Head Lin Chong? And there seemed to also be the Knowledge Star and others in accompaniment, what? Could it be you ceased being faithful? Ceased being faithful? Su Xing twitched his lips disdainfully. Have you never seen someone that signed multiple contracts? Is that so? This princess is actually very curious. Are those star generals following you not suffering right now? Zhao Hanyan did not accept this. With this sort of attitude, you will suffer in the future, ha, ha. Su Xing's tone was profound, not clearly replying. Zhao Hanyan fixed her gaze onto Su Xing, as if she wanted to discern a clue, but in the end, she only saw a pair of deep, crafty and roguish eyes. Speaking of suffering. Su Xing, you certainly owe this princess a favor. A favor? Since when did I owe a favor? Su Xing suddenly understood. Don't tell me it's Emperor Liang. You are unavoidably too haughty, to unexpectedly dare to even offend this princess father emperor. Purple Thunder Monster, you truly are fond of seeking fame. Zhao Hanyan slowly said, you took the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. This princess wonders what you were thinking of doing. If it was not for this princess helping put in a good word for you, how could the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo allow you to be safe and sound? Then thanks. Su Xing shrugged his shoulders, helplessly saying, actually, I didn't want to become enemies with Emperor Liang, but this evil-suppressing gem bamboo had already been discovered by the devil cults. They certainly would have stopped at nothing. It was better to let me settle things. As the Buddha says, if I do not enter hell, who will? Ha, ha. These words to Zhao Hanyan were the same as the ones he said to Emperor Liang. However, how could the Ling Yan princess ever be deceived by these words? She twitched her thin lips, showing disdain. After that time with Purple Star birth outline, what have you been doing? The Vermilion Bird territory, just what the hell happened with Wu Xiao? Princess Ling Yan was very curious. The affair at the Vermilion Bird territory's Five Poisons Mountain shook the Azure Dragon territory. The 10 great sects' bad reputations nevertheless brought up the reputation of the Purple Thunder Saint. After the affair, the Xianzhenzi of True Immortal Hall returned to the sect, and there was not one word mentioned of this matter. He only said that the Purple Thunder Monster and Harm Star Wu Song had committed adultery. He did not utter a word about anything else. Even the Supervoid stage Envious of the East had met a tragic end. It was but a pity that outsiders were not privy to the inside details. They already had been made somewhat confused by the information / they could not accurately surmise just what star general the Purple Thunder Monster had following him because regardless of what was said, not seeing the majestic star yet seeing the Harm Star in the Vermilion Bird territory was somewhat against common sense. Guesses differed, however, if it was really the Harm Star, that was somewhat not too likely. Zhao Hanyan was one of the few that knew the identity of the man known as the Purple Thunder Monster, so she was even more curious about this matter. The ranked 3rd Knowledge Star Wu Yong, the ranked 6th Majestic Star Lin Chong, the ranked 14th Harm Star Wu Song and the ranked 36th Skillful Star Yan Qing, laying eyes on these 4-star generals would make anyone envious to death. As it turned out, they had an unclear relationship to the Purple Thunder Monster. Zhao Hanyan doubted this cheat-like existence that was Su Xing came on orders from Maiden Mountain, if she had not known about Chao Gai's emergence, that is. Su Xing gave a reply that stayed silent about the major details and only admitted the minor ones, having quite the confidence in Zhao Hanyan. He had no need to conceal anything. Since Chao Gai had appeared anyways, him signing 2 top-notch star generals would be exposed sooner or later. At this time, the atmosphere of the Yin-Yang Lake was considerably fascinating. A man and woman were flirting as they discussed. If outsiders saw this scene, they definitely would have been startled. How was this the, you die, I live, that should take place between star masters? Clearly, this was a pair of young lovers. The 2 star maidens had not yet relaxed their guard, each warily eyeing the other. What made Su Xing feel disdainful was that Dong Juanqing's gaze at Yan Yizhen was full of a sort of lily flavor. Just now, you were actually doing that sort of thing with the skillful star? Zhao Hanyan noticed at this time. Her pupils glanced very astonished at the somewhat disorderly dressed Yan Yizhen. The hickeys there were somewhat inconceivable in number. Only you are allowed to do that? Su Xing asked in return. You truly are an uncultivated brute. Zhao Hanyan twitched her lips. What, can't little E and I be harmonious with each other? Su Xing had a pure expression. Zhao Hanyan whistled. Harmonious with each other, a little further than that would have been more accurate. At this time, Evil Smiting Hall was slowly glooming. The sky began to turn dark, and the time of Yin and Yang was about to appear. The steadfast star Dong Junqing wrinkled her brow at Zhao Hanyan and Su Xing's endless chat, reminding, Princess Highness, please do not forget our objective. Oh, right. To capture a star beast. This princess does not have any time to waste. Zhao Hanyan nodded in agreement. She gazed at Su Xing. Su Xing, this princess wonders what star beast you want to capture for the skillful star. Can't you tell from looking at this yin yang lake? It seems we are about to return to facing off as foes again. Dong Junqing took out her double spears, speaking in excitement. You also came to capture the yin yang carps. Su Xing furrowed his brow. The yin yang lake only had one pair of yin yang carps. If Zhao Hanyan wanted this, too, then they actually would have to compete. Of course. Zhao Hanyan faintly smiled. If it's the steadfast star, a mount is even more suitable some. Su Xing was silent. As the double spear's martial general, a mount clearly could allow her to display even greater power. In the future, the majority of martial generals would all be martial force mounts that could hold the advantage. The yin-yang carps can allow yin-yang sets of destined weapons to be even more effective. Sometimes, it is the unconventional gambit, the alternate route that does not have a harmful effect. Zhao Hanyan gracefully replied. First come, first served. Zhao Hanyan, aren't you supposed to yield? As a man, could it be you will not yield for this princess? Zhao Hanyan made a wry grin. Between you and my woman, isn't this choice very clear? Su Xing chuckled. Zhao Hanyan grumbled, heartless man. Princess Highness, less nonsense with this unfaithful man. Let this general go directly. Dong Junqing raised her double spears, already somewhat impatient. Su Xing's pupils flashed with light, and the birth treasure outline flipped out. Star position, steadfast star name, Dong Ping nickname, General of Double Spears true name, Dong Junqing rank, 15th star weapon, Dragon and Phoenix Yin Yang double spears, 3 star, Star Beast. Rank, Realm, 10,000 techniques 9th stage innate skill, double swords 5 elements, Fire Yellow rank special move, Dragon and Phoenix cross/dark rank special move, Top Luan inverted Phoenix, 2, current status, contractor, Zhao Hanyan, detailed materials. 10,000 techniques 9th stage. Su Xing looked and nodded. In the third phase Evil Smiting Hall, this should be a first-rate martial general's realm. Actually, it was the steadfast star's innate skill, double swords, that made Su Xing very curious. What innate skill was this? Even its name was truly odd. There is only one pair of these yin-yang carps. Although you and this princess have the intertwined branch swords, this princess does not want to yield so easily. Zhao Hanyan slightly smiled, her expression poised. How do you want to do this? Su Xing asked. The intertwined branch swords are present. This princess does not wish to do anything. Although you and I cannot fight against each other, we can have our star generals battle. The loser renounces the yin-yang carps, what do you think? No problem. Su Xing inquired Yanizhen. The maid expressionlessly nodded her head, fearless, I'll add on a condition then. Whoever uses a heaven, earth, dark, yellow technique also counts as the loser. That is fair. It would be better to add another condition. If you lose, how about this little sister allows elder sister to love her dearly for a round? Steadfast star Dong Junqing lewdly smiled, her double spears suddenly rising up and thrusting out. The dragon and phoenix yin-yang double spears transformed into yin-yang dragon phoenix void light spears that attacked Yanizhen. The skillful star rushed forward, the star energy on her fists flowing out with the very same two light of yin and yang. The fists seemed to become sharper than weapons, emitting a succession of metallic clangs. Elder sister will love you even more dearly than that man. Dong Junqing loudly asserted. Her offensive madly swelled, covering the skies and earth. The steadfast star rapidly spun, and her double spears seemingly was a tornado of attacks, endlessly attacking the maid at different high speeds and angles. Yanizhen was not at all puzzled by this type of attack pattern. The maid rapidly retreated already to the lake's surface, her fast and nimble footsteps always able to timely bring her out of Dong Junqing's attack range, making her imposing air seem somewhat wan. Slave servant does not have an elder sister like you. Yingmei coldly said. The skillful star's body emitted afterimages. In terms of high speed, the wanderer Yan Qing was certainly not inferior. Spoken beautifully, you truly make elder sister moved. A laugh accompanied Dong Juanqing's lightning-like body that pounced forwards. One spear attacked from the top, the other from the bottom. The double spears crossed and sealed firmly all of the servants' escape routes. Bang! Two fists pushed through, entering Dong Juanqing's chest. The steadfast star was stunned. Immediately, she withdrew, then sprung everywhere. The steadfast star general of double spears Dong Juanqing and skillful star wanderer Yingmei became two kinds of different light that battled up and down the lake's surface. The tranquil lake water was broken by tall splashes. The cold light representing yin and the burning heat of yang endlessly whirled around, displaying a hair-raising battle. The ones known as their contractors nevertheless showed an unordinary calm. Su Xing, just how the hell were you able to hook up with the skillful star? Ling Yan Princess Xiao Hanyan walked to Su Xing's side, frowning as she asked. She knew the difficulties of signing a contract with the skillful star were not easier than the majestic star. Su Xing was disdainful at her hook up. Suddenly, he recalled something. His lips curled with a crafty smile. Right, Zhao Hanyan, I suddenly remembered something. What is that? Zhao Hanyan saw the evil designs in Su Xing's eye and was somewhat cautious. Su Xing drew near her, and a manly chi made Zhao Hanyan's mind fall into disorder. Do you still remember that time originally in the void Liangshan, the words I said? Su Xing leisurely said. What words? Zhao Hanyan froze. Definitely do not forget to fulfill the duties you have in the capacity of a wife. Ah. When those words fell, Su Xing suddenly embraced Zhao Hanyan, lowered his head and kissed Zhao Hanyan's lips. Their lips joined together, and there was a fiery and passionate sensation. The Zhao Hanyan who was deep kissing with a man for the first time opened her eyes wide to look at this man taking possession of her red lips. She had a sort of feeling this was unreal. She was dreaming this, right? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.